From the Ben Pixel Studios in Las Vegas, Nevada, this is Phone Booth Fighting, first podcast of the brand new year. I'm Richard Hunter. He is Frank Mir. Frank, we have a guest in studio. I want to introduce you to one of my comedian friends that I like to bring around from time to time. It's actually a new friend of mine. Rocky Dale Dennis is in studio with us. Good to have. Okay. Now let me explain.
No, everyone does.
Let me explain something. I have a joke. I just stepped on my own joke because what I intended to do was introduce Rocky Dale Davis, then explain how badly I want to introduce you as Rocky Dale Dennis, of course, from Mask fame. Did you ever see Mask?
Yeah.
Remember the guy with the rare disease?
Yeah, Cher and all that.
Because when people started saying your name to me around town, and they would say it kind of quick, I thought that's what it was at first. I was like, oh, this is awesome. I'm going to get to make a Mask reference the first time I meet this guy. And then when they introduced me to you last week and they said Davis, I was like, oh. Okay.
Fuck.
But then I thought it through because you never want to let a good reference go.
No.
And go, no, wait, I can still work it. I just had to rework the material.
Yeah.
But I basically did a whole 5-minute set that was just going to involve me introducing myself.
And you just fucking lit it off that quick, man?
Well,
Oh, man.
I screwed it up.
Yeah.
I blew my material. Now we're fucked. It's like, and it was only going to be good.
Give him the light. Give him the light.
Yeah. I got to get out of here. All right. That's right. Rocky Dale Davis.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Rocky Dale Davis, who, Frank, I'll just let me quick positioning so everybody knows a little bit about Rocky. Rocky, first of all, we have a lot of mutual friends.
We do.
All the well-read comedy guys. So Trey Crowder and Corey and all those guys are mutual friends. You guys are even represented by the same people?
Yeah, we're with Gersh Valentine. Yeah, I actually I used to live with I've lived with Corey, Drew, and I've stayed with Trey before.
Yep. And then also Ralph May was a mutual friend.
He always told me to come out because I remember he always wanted to come out, and I was like, I can't, man, I'm not busy right now. And then he's like, I know you like the UFC. He's like, we go shoot guns with Frank Mir or something. And I was like, that's probably the best day of my life right there, huh? Yeah. And then I was gonna come, and then things happened.
We actually I was really happy that I got to introduce Frank to Ralphie. Couple of, I don't know, 6 months or so before Ralphie passed away. Yeah. But, it's always kind of like you like your cool friends to meet your other cool friends kind of thing. So, and I knew Frank was a fan.
That just fucked me up, dude.
What's wrong?
It's water.
What are we starting off the New Year's with Frank?
I saw they were giving them out at T-Mobile where I work. They're Monster, but they're cans, but they're water. Okay. And my first thought was I could trick Frank with this.
Oh, 100%, you fucked me up.
No, that's fine. I was just eulogizing my my close friend.
But I was like, love Ralphie, miss Ralphie. And he goes, dude, you're fucking me up with this water right now.
Yeah, okay.
Well, you take the old thing, like you take a drink of orange juice and it's milk, or like it fucks you up.
When you do think it's something else,
yeah. So I was drinking this thing. I was drinking a Monster.
You're getting ready.
At first, I didn't even swallow it. I'm like, oh, it's bad. It's like not flat. It's like there's no carbonation. I'm like, what the hell? And then that's why
you're ready for the heart attack, and you just get some water. You're like, what? Am I okay?
Now that I look at it, the can
does
say water on it, but it reads it, right?
Yeah. I just saw,
Tour water. That's hilarious.
Okay.
So, sorry, guys.
R.I.P. Ralphie.
Thanks for Ralphie. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
But he actually, Ralphie did a podcast with us, I don't know, 6 months ago, 6 months or so before he passed away. But Frank and I went out to his show and we set up in his dressing room.
So funny.
Yeah, he was one of the over all the years of doing radio, he was one of the true, good friends that I met. Because there's only a few of those. You have a lot of acquaintances, but then there's a few that actually just become good friends. And Ralphie was one of those guys. So anyway, we have, even though we just met on Sunday, we have a lot of mutual connections that, mutual friends. Yeah. So also, Rocky has a new series that's about to start on the E! Channel, 20 episodes.
20 episodes.
Called
Dating No Filter.
Right.
It's a very simple show. I drank the whole time, so I'm drunk, so that automatically makes it a better show, And we just watch blind dates and we make fun of them. And it's LA blind dates too. So it's like the weirdest of the weirdest people.
Superficial.
Oh man, we had one girl that she thought she was an alien, and she goes out with like a bro, like a sorority, like a fraternity guy, and that was just like the best 10 minutes of my life, like watching that and just like crying, laughing.
Okay,
it was amazing.
So 20 episodes. It's you. I assume maybe there's some other.
There's
folks
me
as
and
well?
5 other comics. Okay. I think it's Kelsey. I can't say her last name. Dara. She's from BuzzFeed. Nina Parker. She's a host on E! Zach Towers. My buddy Ben Evans. It's like we're just 6 of us. It's talking head. Like Mystery Science 3000. I think what it is. And we just watch them and make fun of them. We got 20 episodes. Start January 25th. 21st, and they air Monday through Thursday, and then on Friday they do a 2-hour block of that week's episodes.
Awesome. That sounds like a lot of fun. Rocky's also got his own podcast.
Yep. Welcome to Brookwood, my podcast. We got guests coming on right now. We're just started out single, but I'd love to have you guys on as well. You know, and we just have it here. So many people coming through Vegas. You know, it's just like makes sense to have a podcast. And Brookwood's where I'm from. Because people are like, when I like tell them like a story, like my grandfather fucked the lady who was in the KKK, and they're like, why? I'm like, welcome to Brookwood. You know,
that accent doesn't say Las Vegas.
No. I love when people ask where it's from, and I'm like, New York, upstate. They're like really? I'm like, yeah, man, go Yankees, Yankees.
Rocky, to give you an idea, Frank, because I've been hearing about Rocky for a little bit, because he moved to Las Vegas.
Dude, I thought she was 18 for the retina.
All the the Matt over at LA Comedy Club was actually telling me, he was like, man, you can meet this guy. You guys get along. And finally we ran into each other Sunday. But he's like, with comedians, he's kind of like the hot new girl that's moved to the high school mid-year.
Yeah.
And everybody's like,
I came from Arizona. I'm in Iowa now. Everybody's
What's
like,
up with her? Yeah, exactly. So everybody's sort of trying to feel her out, and
I was trying to get in my pants.
See how they can get close. So we success today. All right, so Rocky's going to be sitting in with us for the podcast. We got fights to talk about. We got Death Pool to talk about, because that's kicking off a whole new season, February 1st.
Right?
Yep, we got to show who our winners were. We have to reveal how you and I did over the season, so we'll be talking about that and some other things as well. Hey, first, though, I want to ask you, by the way, phoneboothfighting.com, the website, it's a whole new year, which means we can certainly use a whole new effort of support to keep this thing going. So click through our Amazon banner and support us that way. We've also got new merch up at some discounted prices, because it's not new merch, our regular merch at discounted prices, because we need to make room for some new merch. So there's that. Mikey's back producing, as I said, Porno Mikey over there on the board. We call him Porno Mikey because one of his day jobs is he shoots porn.
Okay.
That's something you'll only find like either in Las Vegas or LA.
It's been a minute though, hasn't it?
It's somebody who works as a porno
it's
camera.
more of it was my A job when I first started the podcast. Now it's sort of my B job.
Have you done any work lately?
No, I was.
So you have no good stories anymore.
Yeah, I was booked. A guy texted me, but I was booked on CES to be an extra. Mm-hmm. And it was
an extra.
Yeah, I've done that before. It's just like
I used to be an extra in Atlanta, dude.
Yeah.
I did a nude scene one time
really?
for Satisfaction on USA. That was like $500. You just get naked for the day, and I was like, well, I gotta do
search that, Mike.
That's
see if
easy.
you can find that.
What were you an extra for?
I don't know.
Same
but
show,
I've
same
been-
show. Good to see you again, man. Did you ever get that check?
Yeah, Mikey shoots porn. And are you going to be out at? You do anything with AVNs?
No, I don't.
I'm going to be out there in full pimp mode.
Oh,
man.
really?
I'm going to be recruiting.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I've talked
Oh,
to
no
people.
shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll be out there. That's another weird. I don't know if you've heard this about me on the street or not, Rocky, but
On the street.
Yeah, my day job is equally as strange. I run a brothel.
Okay.
So one of the legal ones, so it's classy. Okay, before you start judging.
I don't know if you're serious, but you look like you could run a brothel.
Sadly, I'm
There's
serious.
a heart attack. He's serious.
I'm carrying an actual license in my wallet that allows me to legally run a brothel.
Okay.
That's how this state works.
Do you shit where you eat or no?
Oh, that. No, I'm pretty careful about it. But honestly,
No, pretty much all my other male friends hate Richard. Because Richard, all the girls, there's several of the female acquaintances that we have that are friends of girlfriends and wives that are like, oh, Richard's such a smart, good-looking, cute guy.
Yeah.
His nickname is Big Dick for obvious, for very, easy reasons.
don't ask how Frank knows that.
He works at a fucking brothel, you know what I mean? So he's surrounded by it all the time.
That's hilarious.
And no, Richard is fucking straight arrow.
I'm going to get in so much trouble for being on this podcast when that gets out.
Just for being on.
No, I smoked a cigar today, which she gets mad about that, and I'm on with you. Oh my God. And I
No,
have your
actually,
card.
the more she gets No. If right now I had to go out,
Yeah.
my wife's gonna be pissed.
Okay.
But if I have to go somewhere, if I bring Richard, we're good.
Oh, okay.
No, Richard's the safe guy. He's the guy he's fucking Jiminy Cricket over there.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so I'm
Jimmy
like your
Cricket.
pass. I'm like your state pass. I'm the guy. You tell your girlfriend you're spending the night at my house.
Yeah.
But then you actually don't. You just, you know. But the thing is, if she calls me, I'm gonna be
you're
honest.
You're like the Miss Patty. Like when your mom's like, "Where are you going?" I'm like, "I'm going to Miss Patty's house." And you're like, "Oh, I love Miss Patty. Tell her the brownies are good." You're the Miss Patty.
He's that guy.
Yeah,
that's me.
Except for then when you got to tell him anything, he's not that guy. You want to be like, "Hey, guess what I did?" Like you're like, "No," because he's getting fucking lectured and shit.
Yeah.
You're like, he starts off with a, well, you know, think of it this way. let's look at it from this point of view. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to look at it from.
I don't want to look at it. I
like this point of view.
Dude, I hate when my friends do that. When I'll be like, "You don't believe what she did," and they'll be like, "Well, you know," I mean, I'm like, "No, fuck no. You be my friend," because all girls' friends are so supportive. Like I could be like, a girl could be like, "Yeah, I cut his dick off on a kid's family." They'll be like, "Well, I get it. Like, you know, he is really mean sometimes." But like, if I fucking do anything, and like my friends are like, "No, you're probably wrong, pussy." Like I'm just like, support me, dude. Support me more.
How long have you and your girlfriend been together?
It's almost 2 years, and I'd never been in a relationship before. So this is my first relationship, and my girlfriend is amazing. But I am learning like you can't just be you can't be honest, and you also like can't just casually lie. Like there's no way
you can't be honest.
You can't be honest. Like I can't be like when she's like asked me like a question, and I'll be like yeah, like, "Oh yeah, I was in Denver. A bunch of hot girls hit on me. I didn't fuck any of them, but I can't." I told her when we first met, the second day, I made a joke that her voice was high, like annoying high, just joking, just being a comic is what I do. That has got brought up every day since. I've told her I fucking loved her a million times. That fucking nope. I got an annoying voice, right? Yeah. I'm like, dude, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. You guys learn that lesson as my children. Last night we were at the Taco Terrian again. We stopped there after Bella had a wrestling match, dual tournament, and we were sitting there, and a joke got brought up because Cage, actually, one of the teachers, when we were walking out of wrestling practice, one of the teachers paid me a compliment going, "Hey, Cage was kind of, you know, being quiet, my 13-year-old son." And they're like, "Hey, cheer up." Somehow there's something about, you know, cheer up. He goes, "Well, yeah, you know, like my dad," somehow then it brought up, my son brought my name up as, my dad's like the happiest go lucky guy I've ever met. You know what I mean? Like he just, nothing phases him. So then my wife brought that up at the table. She goes, "Okay, so you said that, you know, your dad was, that's nice." She goes, "Well, what about me? What do you tell your teacher?" And my kids are also, they start making jokes, and I'm like looking at my phone, like, "Oh fuck!" This
So your girl, what does she wrestle at? I wrestled in high school and a little bit in college.
Oh yeah, she wrestles right now at 145.
Oh man, okay.
She's a freshman in high school. She's already she won state last year.
Fuck
in 8th grade, so she's the youngest female state champion ever.
I wrestled a girl one time. I didn't know it was a girl. So in high school I was smaller. Like I'm like 250 now, but I was like 210 in high school. So I wrestled up for my team because we didn't have anybody big. And I go to wrestle this person one time. It's like a big with like a headband, like a head thing on for their hair, and like a big person. So I go out and wrestle them. Shoot a sweep outside, takedown, and like I pull scissors, and I'm pulling their head towards the mat, and they start crying. I'm like, why the fuck is this? Like, why are you crying? Like I get hurt, but like just, you know. And so I pin them, and I get up, and then I got a good match, bro. And the ref goes, he goes, "That's a girl, man." And then she has like flowing hair, and then all my teammates are laughing because they're like, "You just made a girl cry, you piece of shit." And I'm like, I didn't know, man.
At least you pinned her. Now the guy that had to wrestle Frank's daughter has the opposite story. He got suplexed all over the mat, and then it ends up going viral. You know, it's Frank's daughter. God. So he transferred schools the next week, I think. I don't.
That's what happens though. There was this one really good wrestler. She was a girl from Louisiana, and when she was in the tournament, she was smoking dudes, and everyone. She beat my teammate, and I was like, "Fuck yeah!" Like that's awesome, dude. Yeah. I love when like fucking girls like when you see like a real because girls are vicious as shit. Yeah. Watch a girl's basketball game; they're throwing elbows the whole fucking time. Yeah. And I love like when like a girl's like fucking like really gets into wrestling and just smokes these little pussy ass dudes.
That's her last night.
Oh, please show me this. Oh, I'm so excited. Is that she's blue?
Yeah, she's on the left.
Dude, she's fucking jacked.
Decent genetics,
bro.
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Oh, her dad's Frank Mir. Not fucking doing this. I'm sick, coach."
Yeah. She's
single.
She's quite
keeping
serious.
the leg. Fuck me. You ain't. Look at that. Good Lord.
And actually,
that's amazing.
Here she actually got to wrestle another girl because the boy on the weight class she had pinned about 3 weeks ago, or
that's
just
hilarious.
Before, and about 20 seconds. And so when they went to weigh in, he kind of pulled out. I guess he's just like, "Fuck this."
Yeah.
So this girl actually went ahead and took the challenge.
She's fucking. That's awesome, dude. Yeah.
Let's there's we share those clips from time to time. That one's just on Frank's phone.
I don't like her muscle definition is better than mine. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
So I want to fucking state that first off. I'm upset right now about that. My dad's fucking 5'6" and like a piece of shit. You know, she's got a goddamn UFC fighter over here just breaking people's arms in those mid-time. He's like, oh baby, also do you want to learn how to do this and smoke every person you ever meet? I dare the girl to call her a bitch at a party. That girl will get fucked up.
I tell the mere children every chance I get that they don't know how great they have it. It could be different.
Oh,
and
man.
This one I want to tell them about my dad. Exactly like I'm like, let me tell you, let me scare you straight.
Yeah.
And I always tell Frank, they're good kids, but I always say if one of them starts to get out of line, like they don't appreciate the situation, I'll explain how life could be.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. All right, so let's do this. First thing, Frank, we got to, since it is the first episode of the new year, I figured just as a little recap, because last time, our last episode was actually recapping everything that went on with your trip to Hawaii and Bellator and all that kind of stuff. So you're still healing up fine. You look great.
Yeah. I actually just went to the dentist this morning.
Yeah.
I found out they actually took off the bonds that were holding my teeth together, because you're not supposed to keep your teeth are supposed to be able to move a little bit, So they broke that off. And they were going to give me like basically braces, but then I bit down and my teeth were able to clear the bite, so I got to avoid that, or I was going to have braces on the front of my teeth for the next 4 weeks.
Oh, that'd be cute.
Yeah, I was actually, when they first told me that, I'm like, oh shit,
fuck no.
Man.
Yeah.
So then, but then the x-rays came back and it showed that basically I guess my teeth are going to die now because it busted all the root canals in my number 8 over.
Happened to me.
Okay, so they said that I'm going to get gray teeth.
Okay.
So now, so I have to go in and I actually got to schedule the appointment now. They're going to do a root canal and take out the roots of the teeth, and then hopefully they can just, keep from me getting infected, and then this is going to be an ongoing process, I guess.
Do they bring them back to life, or do you get caps?
They're dead.
They're dead, man.
I'm screwed.
Okay,
It just slowly dies off. So I
Yeah.
guess in the next month or two, my teeth would turn gray. So hopefully, I think they said if I drill them out, it'll help avoid that. It'll just basically be a dead tooth, but it'll stay white instead of becoming infected, because if it's just dry blood in there, it'll stain the tooth, or kind of the guy was explaining it to me. But if that doesn't work, the drilling out of the root canal will at least keep me from getting an infection. But then I'll have to get like veneers or some kind of...
Okay, so as of right now, you don't have to do any kind of caps.
We
or
won't.
anything.
We'll find out.
Okay, all right.
So the oral surgeon now sent me to this guy who's going to,
Oh, wow.
But when you get those veneers, you don't want to fight again. I would not, because you're just paying a bunch of money and those things get busted.
Well, they get
super
busted in the
easy.
fight. There's insurance, so...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, great! I didn't know that.
Yeah, see, stand-up didn't come with that.
No, I got punched at the LA Comedy Club after a show. I told you that.
Yeah,
Really?
His gigs must be rougher than mine.
You're
'cause
not
I've,
a big
I've never
guy.
seen trouble in there.
You're not the kind. I mean, you're a big guy. So
Yeah.
to go out there and there's other comics that probably might choose to fucking go after.
It wasn't a comic. It was. So here's the thing. It's like, so I come from a wrestling background. Trained jiu-jitsu for a little bit, did Muay Thai. So I can, if you get, like,
Yeah, you can hold your
most people I meet in my life, like, I'm not gonna meet you, like,
Right,
and fucking
right.
fight you. So most guys I meet, I'll be able to handle, especially coming from wrestling, handle anyone I meet. But I'm so scared. Like, my agents and managers have scared me so much that, like, if I take someone down and they fall back or something like that and they like hit their head, I'm fucking like fucked. So this guy was at a show. I was just doing 5 minutes. He started to talk. I was like, hey, be quiet, and he started heckling me. So I obviously drained my fucking life. So I just started making fun of him and just ruin his night, basically. I get off stage. He was walking up after, and he's like, you want to go outside? And I was like, I was sitting there, and he kept screaming in my face, and it's hard to do that because I used to fight a lot. And so I was like, I stayed calm, won't keep my money. So I was like, all right, we'll go outside. So I called the staff. I called like the security desk. Literally, like, he's beside me spitting in my face. I call security. I'm like, hey, can you call security? And he won't stop, and then he pushes me in the casino, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to fight in because I don't want the club to get in trouble. So I just walk outside. I'm standing there for a couple seconds. He pushes me once, takes off his shirt, pushes me again. I'm like, well, security's coming in a second. And then he goes to push me again and just hit me, and then took off running. And I had like a cut on my face. And I was sitting there. I was like, damn, I would just love for that guy to just fucking realize, like, I would just love to whoop his ass. But it's not worth the money. I've been hit 1,000 times, so I'm not worried about that. But it just sucks, man, because I can't. Okay, you're a big dude, you can wrestle. It doesn't mean shit in like the real world
you still
anymore.
defend yourself, and then there's other things we could talk about because I understand your situation. But are you incorporated?
I'm about to be. I'm getting incorporated.
That'll fix a lot of your problems.
Okay, really?
Frank's figuring out how to make it easier for you to get into physical.
I just want to be able.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna, here in Nevada,
sue the corporation, right?
Well, no, because then you don't own anything.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
right.
Everything, I'm incorporated, so you put everything in the corporation. And there's just ways to move things around that you can give yourself much more of a veil of security for the asshole that's, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a get out of jail free card to go be a fucking dick.
Yeah.
But it gives you one more level of security that, because I always tell people, because people talk about that, like, well, you got the criminal case situation, but there's also the civil side of the law. And, that side's a lot easier for someone to try to sue you.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's so important for anybody that has anything of value.
Yeah.
You have to be incorporated.
Plus, it gives you a good tagline, because then you could do the fight, you get in the fight, and then you can be like, and you just got your ass kicked by Rocky Dale Davis Incorporated.
Yeah.
Fucking walk off.
I just want to be able to, if someone's just to be able to low leg single and put them on their back until security comes. That's all I want. I don't want to hit. I don't want to hit anybody. I'm not fucking. I just want to be able to just stop.
In all honesty, too. I mean, I don't know if you're Asian, but really, honestly, doing that, you're gonna probably be okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no law where it says you have to take an ass whooping.
Yeah.
Especially if the other guy starts it physically. I mean, even to the point to where I've grabbed guys and police have let me go afterwards because it's like, what did he say? Well, he used terminology that would incite anybody into a fight. So just like, people go, oh, freedom of speech. I'm like, freedom of speech. But at the same time, I can't sit there and start calling you fucking slurs and whether it's racial or attacking your sexuality, or because anybody else will see that as like, well, that's taunting me into an altercation. So at that point, if I grab you and I don't hit you and I pin you down and the cops come, they're like, what happened? Like, well, this guy I thought was going to hit me. He's calling me a fag or, white asshole or whatever the fuck, dumbass cracker, These are words that would cause anybody to fucking get angry. He's trying to incite, so you can't use that kind of language. That's just the same as, if someone spits on you or swinging on you. Like, so there's a lot of range where you're allowed to defend yourself. Now, if the cops show up and go, what happened? Well, he spit on me. And they look over and the guy's fucking eyeballs hanging down and they're fucking pulling him off on a stretcher.
It's going to be harder to defend that one.
It's going to be hard to defend that one. You went from a person defending themselves to became the assailant.
I just thought, like, if you wear a hoodie through a casino and watch how quickly they stop you, because like I walked into, I think it was like the M, and the guy was like, take it off right now, like you cannot wear your hoodie in here. And so it's like I would call security, and I'm at the security desk, I'm like, hey, can we get someone to get this dude? Like, he was being disruptive in the show, can we get him out of here? And they just wouldn't stop. But it's a 5-minute bit now, so one punch for 5 minutes. I mean,
it's fair trade.
I'll take that, honestly. Yeah.
Actually, now, man, talk about being liable. I've grown up in Vegas. The casino itself, for not providing ample security, showing that it took that amount of time for someone to get there and they assaulted you. Yeah. Like, at the very least, you're not going to be paying for your medical bills.
Yeah. It was just a nice little cut, just had that little thing. And it's just funny because, like, if we had to walk outside of the casino to fight or to get them out of there, but it's like, you've been in the strat, it's like a mile walk to get outside.
Yeah,
so
that's
we're
true.
walking together and he's just like yelling the whole time. So we look like two friends that are really excited to go somewhere. I'm like, hey man, no, you're going to that's the buffet. This is the outside right here.
Yeah,
that's crazy. It took that long. Usually casinos respond
dude,
pretty quickly.
It was
because it affects their money.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, that's why I always tell people, like, you want to get a response on anybody, fuck with their money.
Yeah.
And a casino doesn't want that kind of shit going on because fucks with their money.
Yeah.
That's true. That walk would be so long. I would think like the guy would probably run out of material about halfway through the walk, and then
or just lose it. Be like, you know what?
An awkward
fuck
silence.
this. I'm good. You know what I mean?
Because that was
how long can you stay mad for?
That's what happened to me. Because like as we're walking, I'm like, because I thought about it, and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna touch him. And then like we literally walked past like the MJ1, the fake Michael Jackson. So like we're just like walking past like, and there's like a crowd, and this guy just like, I'm like, damn, this bunch of energy in this dude.
Wait till I get you outside. Hey, do you mind if I stop and use the bathroom real quick? I don't know how far it's gonna be to another.
That's a good deal on those crystal sculptures right there. Let me get one. I'm gonna beat you.
What did you say to him to get him that riled up?
Well, so when I'm on stage, it's the 5 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour I get a day to release. So when he started talking, I made fun of tattoos. I made fun of him and his shirt, and it was. To be fair, it wasn't like I was like, hey man, don't talk. Like, I fucking lit, and then the whole crowd laughed at him, and then I ended on 2 jokes that both get applause breaks. So it was just like fucking just and he literally was sitting there so mad, like he's like rubbing his head like during the show, just like getting getting antsy.
But in all fairness, he put himself in that situation.
Yeah. No,
I've never been heckled at a comedy show because I don't fucking talk.
Yeah.
Even when comics sometimes talk to me, I'm really like, I don't make eye contact. I start looking down. I'm like, yeah, you got the mic. You're gonna win this.
No,
I don't want to fucking. You know what I mean? Like, you got to know how to pick your battles.
He was one of the because they asked me the strat because I had headlined the show before, and they just asked me if I wanted to do 5 because it was like an open micer showcase, and it was actually one of the open micers friends. And I told her after, I was like, hey, you need to address that. Like, if you bring someone in the club, and then she kind of was like apologetic, and then her boyfriend like walked up to me after, and he's like, it was his friend that was the person, and he was like, well, you were asking for it, man. I'm like, you realize I can't hit him, right? Like, it's like, and then it's like I literally looked at the club and I was like, hey, don't ever book her. Like if she's gonna bring people in like this, like bring in fans and people that listen. But when you're bringing in someone who talks during the other comics set, and open micers, like, this means a lot to them. Like, to get in at the strat, to get consistent stage time. And you bring someone who sits in the front row, talks in the front row, and then like gets like heckles. Get the fuck out of here.
Well,
man.
And that's also completely not understanding the very nature of the medium that you are there to see. Like,
you're also kind of like picking on, for lack of a better term, amateurs.
Well,
you know, I mean, you think about the open mic.
Like, I can handle it, but like,
but you get a guy that's the second time ever being up on stage.
Yeah.
Like,
he's got 5 minutes he's memorized to a T, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna get through this. Like, because the other comics,
why would you even want to fuck with those people? Like, that's fucked up. So,
but it's also a one-way conversation. I mean, I understand sometimes you do crowd work or whatever, but in terms of somebody's legit just trying to heckle or whatever, it's supposed to be a one-way conversation. That's so different than me going to a UFC fight and going, you know what? Halfway through the fight, I jumped in the cage. I got my ass kicked. What's up with that?
I don't know what happened.
Well, that's because those people are there to do that, and you're there to watch them.
It was it was so annoying, man. But got 5 minutes out of it. Yeah,
that's good stuff. All right, well, I wanted to pitch something to you, Frank. First of all, under the guise of how was your New Year's? That's going to be your setup. How was New Year's? What did you guys do for New Year's, Christmas, everything good? Yeah. Because you guys went out of town, saw family and all that.
Yeah,
right?
we went up north. First, we went to Disneyland, on the 20th, 22nd, 23rd. We were up there, and then we drove up to Sacramento, where Jen's from, and stayed there with her whole family. The visit was a little longer than I wanted it to be. Staying out of someone's house, basically living out of a suitcase for 2 weeks. It gets to a point where I want my bed, my room. You know, so.
Well, I went to Disneyland as well for New Year's. Frank and I both love Disneyland.
Avatar?
That's Disney World. Disneyland.
Oh, my bad. I'm poor. So
no. We both love Disneyland, and we go together and alone sometimes. That's how often we go to Disneyland throughout the year. There's usually at least one joint trip together, and then his family, and then me and my girl go. Anyway, she and I went for New Year's Eve. We're actually there on New Year's Eve, which we did not know until we got there, that New Year's Eve is Disneyland's single biggest day of the year as far as crowd.
Yeah, when you told me that, I was like, really?
Yeah.
Disneyland coming on New Year's.
I didn't. No. I would not. I would guess it would have been in the middle of the summer
or New Year's with Times Square, Vegas, the Strip.
Yeah,
it seems like a party night. Disneyland doesn't strike me as a place to go if I want to, because you can't even drink.
So apparently you can over in California Adventure, the other side of the park, but not Disneyland. But they apparently can get about 85,000 people in there when it's at capacity, and it was at capacity.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
What's it like to use the bathroom when there's 85,000 people in there?
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, you know what? It's funny you mention that, because I probably stood in some lines where I normally haven't stood in lines before. A lot of people. Yeah, you're waiting. You're waiting for everything. Now, speaking of not waiting, though, little tip to you, Rocky, if you ever are so fortunate. Going to Disneyland with Frank is the greatest experience ever.
Well, when the show comes out, he'll be able to get the same process.
Yeah. Okay, here's what you shoot for.
Yes.
I'll get back to New Year's.
This is our bar of if you've made it or not.
I love it.
So Disneyland, you know how you can do those guided tours? Like, you can pay to have a tour guide, and they'll take you into like the Fast Pass line. So that's the express lanes, right? So you can do that. But if you're on their super secret, unpublished celebrity list, then you get on this other list, and for that list, they take you through the back of the rides and just set you right on the car. So we did, in less than really a day, you can hit every ride at least
6 to 8 hours usually
once.
what we do.
Yeah, and so you follow the tour guide, they take you right into the back of the ride. You never see a person. The next thing you know, you're just sitting on Space Mountain in the car. And not only that, you can ride it, but then when you're done, you can go as many times as you want again. So we're on Space Mountain, and we just walked right in the back, and the wait for it was like an hour, right?
Yeah.
So we just go sit in the car, and we take off, and Frank's sitting next to me, and he goes, hey, you want to go again? And I go, yeah. He goes, all right, well, look at the attendant when we come through and just give him this little let's go again sign. So we go through there, and I look at the attendant, and I give him the little let's go again, and he gives me the nod, like, yes, sir, you know, and we start to take off, and right before we took off, I turned to Frank to start to say something, and Frank goes, don't look at me. He goes, look straight ahead. He goes, once you do that, everybody in this fucking place hates you. He goes, they're all looking at us right now. He goes, don't look at me.
Yeah, could you imagine? You've waited in line for 90 minutes.
Dude.
You're there at the front. This group pulls up. The things open up because, you know, it unhatches, locks you, and then all they do is they grab it, and they lock themselves back in. They don't get up. The thing doesn't open for you. And then all of a sudden, they take off again.
No, I know how you feel because we went to Cedar Point or Cedar Rapids in Ohio, and so we're sitting there in the regular lane, and these little punk-ass kids are coming by in like the super fast pass lane, and I'm like, fuck that kid.
Yeah.
I hope the ride breaks.
Now, here's another funny thing about that line.
Because I don't have that in me to be an asshole,
yeah,
I don't really make eye contact with the guy. You know, because I can imagine if you want to be a dick.
You're the homeless guy on the highway when you're like looking, he's like, he has a sign, please give money, and they're like looking just straight ahead, just like,
fucking phone.
You put the top on the Corvette over, you're like, nope.
Yeah.
So
So another funny thing about that list, though, because my wheels start turning automatically, you know, while we're on this thing. And I asked the tour guide, I said, hey, so my first thought that comes to mind is you get on this you know, super exclusive list, but can you also be taken off the list if your fame wanes, right?
Yes.
And do they ever thin the celebrity herd? And she goes, yeah. She goes, there is discussion about that. You know, like they kind of look at, mainly I think they look at how often you're going to the park and things like that. But what they also look at is, would you cause the distraction if you were just there on your own?
Yeah.
You know, would people want to stop and take photos with you? So having told me that at the beginning of the day, throughout the day, there were times where somebody would, you know, come up, Frank, want to say hi or do a picture or something. And the tour guide at one point said to me, she goes, you know, I can tell them that we're not doing that if you want to, you know, keep that away from him. But in my head, I'm like, no, because we need a little of that to show a sample of what could happen. So I'm like, no, it's fine. But yeah, put him out there. Let's get some.
Yeah, it's like, how long would John Stamos get that free pass?
You know, actually, that being said, you know what some people do that are on that list?
Yeah.
And I have never done that.
Yeah.
I'll post a picture, but usually when I'm at Disneyland, so that I don't cause those problems, my picture's always really delayed. So if you see a picture of me
like
at
after
Disneyland,
you're gone.
I'm either gone or that's the next day. And I'm, you know, now that picture was from Disneyland and I'm over at California Park. So I'll post that picture, you know, and I'm going to stay over there, you know. Some people will actually be on the fucking ride, post that they're at, you know, Splash Mountain. So that way that there's people going, oh shit, so-and-so is at Splash Mountain. I'm like, and then they get off and like, oh fuck, all these people are bugging me. I'm like, well, asshole.
Yeah.
Fucking don't post it. You're fucking, you know what I mean? Like, you're kind of missing the point. But then I guess they're like, well, that kind of keeps me with the tour. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
So to get on this list, I just have to like win like 20 UFC fights. That's it?
You just have to cause a problem at Disneyland.
Okay. I can get naked and shit in the
no,
street.
No.
I guess you should have been more specific.
You're telling me. No. Frank said it. Frank's on the list. Okay. I'm getting grandfathered in. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to shit in the middle of Space Mountain.
No. Now what we need are that group of girls that hit on you at the Chuckle Hut in Cleveland. We need them to exponentially multiply to the point that there will be enough of them at Disneyland that causes a commotion.
Yeah, because they don't like the flow of traffic to stop.
Yeah.
So what happens is that I'll be there and someone will want to take a picture and I stop. But then like if all of a sudden like, because what happens if you take a picture with anybody?
Yeah.
Everybody looks. So even if you're not super famous, you know what I mean? All of a sudden, they're like, oh, someone's taking a picture of that. And then someone goes, oh, he's a fighter, he's this or that. And then other people go, oh, I know who that is. Oh, and then all of a sudden, you know, they might bring up. And then all of a sudden you have 4, 5, 6, 15 people now huddled around wanting to take a picture. Well, now you're causing a problem with the flow of traffic. And that's why they justify, let's get you the fuck out of here, we'll go. So that's why I tell them, and that's my thing is I always take pictures with people, but if it starts building up, I don't even have a choice now. The attendant will come over and go, we got to keep moving.
That happened with Tracy Morgan. So I met Tracy twice in New York. So we're at the Comedy Cellar. I've met him twice. He's never seen me perform. I'm sitting at the table where he's at. And so he goes, Rocky, come outside. So I walk outside, me and Leonard Dukes, and he goes, you see this? He had like a Ferrari. He goes, there's one of 15 of these in the world, and I got one. I got one from respecting my fans. So then somebody walks up, they go, Tracy Morgan, can I take a picture? And he takes a picture. Then another person walks up, Tracy, can I take a picture? And then like a crowd of like 50 people the street is this big, like the size of this table, and like they gather, and he goes, I'll see y'all later, good night, and walks inside. And I was like, wait, I thought you were supposed to take pictures there. That's how we get the car, right?
He's already got the car. He's gonna hold off. He's
like, this is how you get the car. Yeah. Just to keep the car, you walk the fuck back inside.
That's good.
All right, so New Year's Eve, we're at Disney, busiest night of the year. As we find out, we were there for 3 days. We had a great time. First of all, I have to, I'll break the news here. I have to make a confession. Frank, they got us on the season passes. God damn it. They were in. We bought them. My girl and I, Rocky. First, have you ever been to Disney? I know you lived in L.A.
So I've been to the Avatar one, which was the best day of my life.
Which is Disney World.
It's at Disney World.
That's over in Orlando.
4 hour wait.
Right. Okay.
Did you wait 4 hours?
I haven't been. I've only been to Disney World once, and they were building Avatar.
Dude, I'm telling you, because my girlfriend, she used to live on. She worked in a show on Six Flags, so we always got to ride the rides like early and like last. We literally lived on the park in Six Flags, and I've rode tons of rides. Like Avatar and Disney World is the best thing ever. So sorry, go ahead.
Okay, but but you actually have not been to Disneyland.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, all right. So we've talked before about these season passes, and what they do is we're there for 3 days, and for the two of us, basically the cost of being there for 3 days was the amount of half of what the lowest level of the season pass would be, and they allow it to be retroactive. So as long as you buy that season pass before you leave, they're like, oh, we'll go ahead and give you the credit for the 3 days you were here. Whoa. So you get this conversation going in your head of like, well, pretty much leave money on the table if we don't buy it now, because I mean,
you're right. Unless you plan on never coming back for the rest of the year.
Yeah, they're so smart at how they do it. So we became season pass holders, but by New Year's Eve, we're 72 hours into this, and we're trying to stay until midnight and all that, but it's so freezing and it's so packed, and people are just like huddled together. It's cold as shit. But we had a great time. Anyway, here's the real value for the podcast that I brought back. So we're over on Tom Sawyer Island, right? Now, this is the first time we've gone over there, which is it's exactly what it sounds like. It's an island in the middle of a big lake they have there at Disneyland or pond or whatever. And the canoe rides, where you actually paddle your own canoes, go around the island. And then on the island, there's a lot of places for kids to play tree houses.
Did you take the canoe over, or did you take the little?
No, we took the little ride, the little pontoon boat or whatever that is over there.
Ferry, like a ferry.
Yeah, it's a ferry.
Yeah, right, ferry. But the canoe rides go around the island, right? Okay, so and they got over there like tree houses and caves for the kids to crawl around.
I've never done the canoe ride.
We did it once, and the funny thing is, you work your ass off.
That's why I won't do it.
No, I mean that's the thing.
I'm on vacation. I don't watch what I eat, and I'm not exercising.
There's no trick to it. Like halfway through that canoe ride, when we did it, Jennifer was like, we're just rowing a boat.
Plus, too, you're in a boat full of other Americans. I'm like, okay, hold on a second. How fucking hard are you working?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Get the fuck out of the boat, dude.
I'm gonna start sizing up who I'm going with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All right,
I'm 80.
Here's the hypothetical I thought of. I thought of a good hypothetical to pitch you, Frank. So as I'm leaving Tom Sawyer Island, I look over to the side, and that's where they dock the canoes, like the ones they're not using over on Tom Sawyer Island, right? So there's like 6 docked canoes. So I thought to myself, all right, Frank, if you and I, let's say this thing, gets out of hand and you want to get yourself banned from Disneyland, if nothing else, just to save the money. Because, I mean, I'm headed that direction. And the worst part is, you want to talk about good influences and bad influences like we talked at the beginning of the show? His wife is a bad influence at Disneyland because she's got my girlfriend like into all the, oh yeah, you get these bracelets and you collect this and you get that, and because they got you dialed in at the stores, and then they give you a little discount with the season pass, so it makes shopping even more.
That gift like that an uncle can give his niece or nephew that like pisses the parents off, like the drum set.
The drum set.
Right.
Yeah.
My wife does that with gifts. So she'll give someone a gift, but then like enters in a world where like, oh, this is a collectible item, and then this is just the beginning of it. So even though the first one, she's like a drug dealer that gives you a fucking first taste,
Oh,
right?
man.
And then all of a sudden she like buys you a bracelet with a little charm on it. You're like, but this is mine. It has all the charms.
Yeah. That is the best analogy. Because then you're like, I like this charm, but hers has got the damn dolphin. I want that dolphin.
And I'm okay with her doing it because then when I look over at the husband or the other person, the significant other, they're like, dude, what the fuck? I'm like, look, misery enjoys company, dude. I'm fucked. I'm fighting till I'm 90.
Does she
You're
have
fucked too.
Does she have a sponsorship? Like, does she low key works for them? She's like, y'all don't even know.
That is so true. We went to dinner the other night, and his wife reaches in her bag and looks at my girlfriend. And she's like, I got these for you. You know what these are? Secret collectible
that's her new
mouse
thing
ears.
she's getting everybody into.
Yeah, gave her those. And on the way home, it's like Jennifer's like, well, no, see, this is one of a set of 5. And then she got the whole thing. Okay, so back to my canoes. So I see those canoes sitting over there. And I thought to myself, all right, here's the hypothetical. If we wanted to get ourselves permanently banned from Disneyland, next time Frank and I go together, when we go over to Tom Sawyer Island, and when we're about to leave, we just hijack one of those canoes, right? Now, here's the thing. I was saying, stop me if you think any of this doesn't play out right. I'm thinking, if we got one of those canoes and just start paddling it around Tom Sawyer Island, right? Now,
do they have security canoes?
Well, here's the thing.
They're going to jump in and
right.
go after us.
That's what I'm
so
thinking.
like Last of the Mohicans battle scene.
It'll be like, when the fucking like the scuba divers come up and just grab your ass off.
So what I'm thinking is that okay, Disneyland is not going to be okay with those teenage kids that work that ride trying to chase us down, and right. So they're not going to do it, and I don't even think with the park security they would really want them like trying to physically apprehend. So I'm thinking they call like the Anaheim PD to come out there. But I'm also thinking that by the time the Anaheim PD gets there, there's probably like a news helicopter over Tom Sawyer Island, like watching us do the slow speed canoe chase around.
How far away from San Diego are we? Because that's where the Navy's.
Yeah.
This could get bad.
This is like, look, I feel like we're discussing a bank robbery online right now, and I'm just going to say I'm not a part of this unless y'all want me in, and I'm fucking there. But
I think it works right up until the time someone factors into the equation that's authorized to use a taser. I think that's where it.
But they go to taste and it just hits the water, fucking freezes the whole lake. The 6-year-old like, "Rrr."
That would do it, right?
Well, one guy can swim with just a little just pokes the All right, problem solved. Give this about 15 minutes.
That's how they do it. They send out like a frogman, like the special Disney frogman unit.
Drills the bottom of the
No, there's some fucking dude in the back just smoking a cigarette, and they're like, Carl. He's like, I haven't done this in years.
Yeah.
He's like, code red. He's like, fucking puts a cigarette out in his hand, fucking throws on like a scoop of mass and just hops in. The next thing you fucking know, he's fucking stabbing like the inside like it's a fucking vampire. You're like, going down. He crawls out of the water, fucking throws a firecracker in and goes, I'll be in the jets, guys.
That probably is what they would do.
There's got to be a guy for that.
They think of everything now.
I don't know.
You're
You
right.
think that, but didn't somebody get eaten like an alligator? A kid got ate by an alligator at like one of the parks.
Yeah,
so
that
they
was
don't
at
think
Disney
of
World.
everything.
Yeah, again, Florida.
Y'all are hating Disney World, by the way. Though, like y'all are making me feel like y'all are like, oh no, we live in a tiny house, not a trailer.
Yeah,
fucking
no,
fuck no. I don't like that.
Yeah, no,
that's
we're
right.
left
The gator
coast.
came up. Well, because when I was there, you see gators, and I was there
all the time.
before
There's
that
signs.
happened.
Yeah,
it's everywhere. I mean, shit. I remember one time I was in Florida, and because I don't see a lot of alligators and shit. There was one that got hit. There was just like basically like a raccoon, like it's roadkill, right?
Yeah.
But it was a good size. It was like a 6-foot fucking alligator that someone hit. And now he's on the side of the road. So I was like, hey, pull over. I want to check this shit out. So like we got out and I'm like looking. I'm like, holy fuck, that's like big. Like these motherfuckers are just fucking like walking around like this. Like, and there's never a problem. Like,
dude.
You think that alligator got hit by a car. You get up close. That's when he opens his eye and he's like, I was just sleeping.
He's like the Undertaker leans up like, bitch, you're wearing flip-flops. You're in Florida. That's how I get all of them. That's a true
It
fact.
always amazes me that Florida has such acquaintance. That's why like that situation happened where the kid was just playing there by the grass. It's not like the parents are being negligent. Like everybody just walks around, and that fucking gator.
I hated that though. When I saw like all these parents like, how do you let your kid? I'm like, dude, you're fucking. None of y'all watch y'all's kids like that. It's a kid playing. He's probably 8 foot away from you. You didn't know that there was a goddamn prehistoric hunter sitting in the water just waiting for that little fucker to get close.
Well, if it was a problem, it'd be more than one. I mean, like Can any of us think of another time it's happened since then? Right now, like off the top of our head?
I saw one. It was I was in the ocean, which I didn't know they were in the ocean. That's a fucking suck. But I was in Gulf Shores, and they're literally I'm like swimming, and I look back, and there's one. I was a kid, so it probably wasn't as big as I thought it was, but I saw it, and you like that to this day is the most I've ever been scared in my life because like that's why I don't fuck with water. Like when you're in water, dude.
I'm with you, brother. I don't like water either.
I'm not scared. Like well, I can't say I'm not scared, but it's like if you're in the wild and you see like a hog or just something like a bear, you can give a little bit of an effort to get the fuck out of the way. But it's like when you're in the water, they're just like
you feel like at least you could fight back.
Yeah, like
even
I know I couldn't.
I know I'm gonna lose. No, I'm with you. Like if you told me right now, okay, grizzly bear or shark, I'm like, oh, grizzly bear. They're like,
yeah,
you mean that 900-pound bear
with fucking knives?
Yeah, I'm like, I know it'll kill me. I know I stand no chance, but like it just feels better to fucking deal with it. But like being in the water and like seafood, I'm like, I don't fucking know where anything is. You know what I mean? Like.
That is such an arrogant statement, though. Is like, I'm so arrogant in the fact of like, I'm like, look, I could go fucking 3 rounds with a bear. It's gonna catch me in the 4th, but I can get 3. I'll get a couple takedowns. I might fucking get a Kimura off of it, but it'll get me.
Yeah,
which is so stupid.
All that hair might be a gi, like
look, fucking, he may tap. Who knows? Which is such a dumb statement. A bear would just swallow anyone.
But in the water, though, murky, like fuck that. Like I'm to the point where we've talked about this before. I am a 39-year-old full-grown man with children.
Yeah.
And if right now, and I have a pool in my backyard, if you cut the power and you had my heart monitor on and I'm in the dark water, my heart rate increases.
Dude.
Like I start I'll be sitting there now and I'm like, I can consciously go, okay, no, I'm okay. I don't know if this is going to be here. But like I get nervous. Like, dude. And I know that I'm in the middle of the desert, that there's no chance that this pool, 0. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, but it's still... Water scares the fuck out of me.
Dude, I cannot. I've never said that in public before because I was ashamed.
Guys, keep talking. I'm gonna hit the bathroom.
I've never said that before, but 1,000%. It just in a pool when there is no lights on. Because as a kid, my friend, we swam, and then he opened up his drain. They were opening it to get a ball out, and there was a snake in there. And now I can never I'm terrified to be in a pool when it's daylight and I'm the only one in there, and I'm fucking looking like the whole time. Like it is terrifying. Yeah. Open water is like even in like a lake.
Yeah,
like
I'm with you.
It's so fun. That's why it always terrifies me.
When we're here at Lake Mead.
Yeah.
Right? Lake
Same
Mead.
thing.
It's
Same
murky.
thing.
I can't see. I've gone with friends with their boats and stuff, and people are jumping in, and I'll jump in the water, but then I immediately come back up. I've sat there and waited just because you want to conquer your own brain. I'll be sitting there in the water, just kind of, I'm like, fuck. I'm not a great swimmer, so I can only be there for a minute or two anyways. But my brain, I'm nervous. Again, my heart rate starts, I'm doing this, and I'm like, dude, it's fucking freshwater man-made lake, dude. There's nothing in here that's going to hurt you.
We were in it, and my girlfriend was on the float, and I was like off of it, like kicking, and like I was sitting there, and I was trying to maintain it, but I was terrified. I was so terrified. I'm like, what if something, anything just, and if something ever did rub my leg, I'll never swim again. I'll take a fucking dry bath. Give me some dry shampoo, and I'll just fucking do that.
I'd probably scream.
Yeah,
if something touches my foot in the water, and even though it's somewhere like that, like, you're probably I'm gonna embarrass my children.
It's my friends one time, they were fishing or they were gigging. So that's like, you know what gigging is? By chance? Okay, so it's where you get, it's like a frog gig. It's like it looks like the Aquaman, like the it's like I can't think of the name. It's like 3 prongs,
like a spear.
Yeah, kind of like a spear. It's 3 of them, and you go at night beside the embankments in a river, and you have like a light, and you look in the water for frogs, and you hit them. So my buddies one time are doing it, and you're going like underneath the trees a lot because you're in like an embankment, like the layover, and they hear like a thump, and they look back, and a rattlesnake had fell in the fucking boat. It's pitch black at night, and like they just jumped out of the boat, and like I would die because then I'm in water where I can't see. Like those fucking shows where they go in that water and like Naked and Afraid till they do it, and I'm like, it's $10,000 after taxes. That's like you're paying them $200. Get the fuck out of here.
Like the people that do with the fishing with their hand, they put their hand in a hole.
Noodling.
Yeah, noodling. I'm like, fuck you. What if you put your hand in the wrong hole? Like, you know what the fuck's in there.
I've been offered to go before, and I'm just like, no, because like I've been in a lake one time where a snake was like, I looked up and a snake was eye to eye with me, and there's like, snakes can't bite underwater. Well, I've seen them kill fish, so how the fuck does that happen?
Is that true? Snakes can't bite underwater?
That's a fucking theory that I don't have the science to prove.
Water moccasins are like one of the most dangerous fucking snakes.
They got water in their name. Like,
I'm pretty sure that fucker can open its mouth underwater.
They're not scaring the fish up and they be like, I got you now, bitch, fucking rebound. No, they're getting you underwater.
Yeah.
Fears, man, fears.
Let's talk some fights. Okay. Let's do that. All right. So since we have been together, UFC had a big end of the year fight card, as they often do. 2 title fights on the line. Now it's a return of Jon Jones, Frank. He rematched Alexander Gustafsson. First time around was a decision that was debatable with some folks, at least, about which direction that fight went. Jones had won that one via decision. This one, no need to go to the judges' scorecards. He stops Gustafsson in the third. I think basically, in addition to maybe being better prepared and all the rest of that, just manage the distance much better.
Yeah, I think he called it. He stayed out of the boxing range.
Yeah.
And at first it looked like Gustafsson is the better boxer, and as he was moving forward, Jon had to stay patient. And when Gustafsson was stopping his shots, I thought there was times during the start of the fight, I was like, shit, it's not looking awesome for Jon at the moment. You know what I mean? Like his shots, he's forcing them, and he's not getting any kind of results out of it. There looked like it was like, wow, this could start getting bad, because it usually becomes harder to take a guy down as a fight goes on, because your energy levels start dropping. I mean, we always talk about wrestling. You stop a guy shot 3 times, usually the guy's not going to shoot anymore. But Jon was able to stay resilient and stayed out of range. His kicks are always one of his, I think Jon does a great job of staying either too far away from you or close enough. And he's such an excellent wrestler and really a good kicker for a guy that didn't come from that kind of background. I thought he put together a great game plan. And then it just showed that once Gustafsson did get taken down, Jon's really great at being on top. He put in a power, or just a half, and kept him from being able to belly down, so he couldn't get back up to his feet, and just crushed him.
Yeah, and apparently now there's going to be a quick turnaround for Jon Jones. Word is he's going to fight Anthony Smith in March here in Las Vegas. That's assuming he can get licensed, because he's still going to have to go through the hearing process with Vegas. You know what I've decided to do? Because it's so hard now to keep track of all the different incidents with Jon. And, of course, this one had its own set of weird circumstances that came along with it and everything. I've decided to just start thinking about him the way I used to think at whether or not my dad was going to show up at my birthday party. Like, if he does, great, but I'm going to not worry. I'm not going to expect anything, and we'll just see what happens. Because I've gotten to where I'm having a hard time keeping track of which years he wasn't there, because there's been enough issues now. And I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Vegas or Nevada, because they're going to have to license them, and they do seem to be basically positioning the idea that, hey, these metabolites are going to keep turning up over and over and over again, so this may just be a recurring thing. And if anybody does not follow us on social media, well, shame on you, but I will just direct your attention to Frank's Twitter page. Actually, it was on all his stuff, but if you look at Facebook, Twitter, even his Instagram, he put out a statement about Jon Jones's metabolites issue that Luke Thomas called the most important thing anybody can read on the whole saga, was what Frank wrote. So check that out. We'll have more to say about that in coming weeks. We can't get into a lot of discussion about that now for a couple of reasons, but all those will become apparent to you in the next couple of weeks. But anyway, read up on that if you didn't see it during our little holiday layoff. But all that being said, at least for the in-ring part of it, it looks like same old Jon Jones.
I liked his corner though, because those takedowns were so terribly timed. They were just terrible, and there wasn't follow through with them really. But his corner was like, look, just calm down. They didn't give him anything. They're just like, hey, calm down, everything's okay. Like, just stay calm. And like, that's why I knew once he got him to the ground that it would be he has no ground game. It was weird. The first round, that's the same thing I thought. I was like, these takedowns look god awful, because Jon usually has where he works so well. As soon as you put your weight on that first foot, he just takes it, man. He has such a good range. But
he transitions very well.
Yeah, but I felt like Gustafsson hasn't been the same since Johnson knocked him out. Since Johnson had that where Anthony Johnson came and was knocking him, and where his head was literally leaning, I felt like he's just been a different fighter.
Yeah, it may end up.
But then I thought he looked really. I thought the best I've ever seen him look was against Glover Teixeira.
Yeah.
And I thought he took Daniel Cormier. I mean, he. By no stretch of the imagination do I think that it was a fight that could have gone either way. Daniel beat him.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Cormier made him work for it.
Yeah, I mean,
Gustafsson made Cormier work for it. Yeah.
Cormier's eye was a little bit busted up after the fight.
Yeah.
He took Cormier down one time. You know what I mean? Like, he stopped a couple of shots. Like, I just think that John just, people don't realize how strong and how he understands leverage on the ground.
So much.
Because a lot of times you think of a wrestler that's strong, you think compact. And I've rolled with John and moved with guys that are long like that. And there's like a tendon, like I sometimes call it farmer boy strength, where it's like,
I have that.
Yeah, you look at a guy, you're like, well, you know, he doesn't look like he's strong. But then you grab him or he holds on, you're like, oh shit, like I can't move. Like this guy is, you know what I mean? Like, because of the levers and the tendon insertions in their body, and then with the obviously the prowess of his wrestling background, knowing how to use it to his best of ability, his leverage on top is phenomenal.
I thought he was such a wrestling mismatch against Cormier too, because like I used to hate wrestling those little bowling ball motherfuckers that were they're just so small and compact, and they're just little power shit brick houses.
They just learn how to do a down block, and you never fucking can take them down.
It's the worst, and if they it's terrible. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, co-main event made some history. Amanda Nunes now the first ever women's simultaneous multi-division champion. She's now your bantamweight and your featherweight champion. She KOs Chris Cyborg in 45 seconds. Cyborg, it looked like, channeled her inner Vanderlei Silva and just came out berserker style in a way that she used to a lot more than I think she has recently. I think Cyborg's been more controlled in more recent fights. Not this one, though. I mean, it looked like she was intent on making it a firefight and got knocked out.
I think she really underestimated Amanda Nunes.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a crazy thing, because Amanda Nunes is a sprinter. She's such a powerful athlete. I mean, she hits hard. She's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. For one round, I thought that she was just as dangerous as Cyborg. I would have thought, if I was Cyborg, look, I'm bigger and stronger. Just every time we clinch and lock up, you're going to expend more energy than me. You're going to get tired. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to have to, I'm going to make you carry my weight. And I thought that if she would have, I thought Cyborg would fought like she fought Holly Holmes, more intelligent, utilized the jab a lot better. And you're right. I mean, it was such a short fight. It's hard to tell. She just, that first kick to the leg, it seemed to set something off in her brain. And then, and I've been there, you lose your mind, you get pissed off, and now all of a sudden it becomes emotional and you want to get even. And then that's not the person to get even with, because she hits so hard. I mean, look what she did to Ronda Rousey. I mean, Amanda Nunes hits hard. I mean, she does. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, we just saw how hard she hits against Cyborg. She put her into the, put her lights out.
It was so crazy, because when Cyborg starts going aggressive, you literally see Amanda Nunes' eyes like open. She's just like you wasn't expecting that. It's just like such like and then, but she handled that, and I caught it, by the way, too. First round knockout, but she just that was beautiful. That was she controlled that chaos so well, and she just back against the fence and just called her, man.
On the undercard, looking ahead to March 2nd, I think I said March 3rd, March 2nd here in Vegas. On the undercard of that John Jones-Anthony Smith fight, looks like it's going to be a welterweight title matchup between Tyron Woodley and Kamaru Usman. And this has got Colby Covington upset to the point, Frank, that he just reared back and called Dana White a piece of shit on air. I think he did it with our friends over at MMA Junkie. That's probably the headline for most people. For me, it was the fact that as him being the UFC's most ardent Trump supporter, he's now calling for a UFC fighters union. I thought that is ironic. I want to sit down and have that conversation with him. Like, let me sort through your political ideology here. But he is, and you know what, to a guy like that.
But I mean, that's the perfect example of how the average person's political ideas are. As long as they justify you, they're right.
Yeah.
You're always on the side that helps you out. And I get that. Very few people I've ever met in my life are willing to go ahead and, well, you know what? I see the bigger picture, and even though this doesn't benefit me, it benefits the common man, so I'm for it. Like, there's not a lot of human beings out there that do that. I mean, if you think about it, just through evolution, it's not really beneficial to have that trait.
But it also shows you how somebody's circumstances can change, even just over the course of a couple of months, where they think they've got one position until it affects them, and they're like, wait a second. It's like somebody who wants to censor violence on television until it's affecting your favorite Chuck Norris movie, and you're like, that's wholesome family fun. Wait a second, what are you doing?
That's a beautiful roundhouse right there. That's all that is.
Yeah. So it looks like we're going to get that as a co-main event here in March here in Vegas. All right. Well, I tell you what, in the interest of time, let's get to Mikey's news segment because I had Mikey prepare some news for us. So this was a highlight of 2018. We started doing this with Mikey, so I thought we'll let him kick it off for
People
2019. Yes, they did.
You don't have to act that surprised.
That was very surprised. He was like,
People like that shit.
No, I didn't mean like that. I was more Actually, I was trying to compliment. Oh, people like it.
I know.
Yeah. All right.
I look forward to your porno stories, but okay. You know what I mean?
Well, what have you got for us there, Porno Mikey?
The R. Kelly
yes.
documentary came out,
Yes.
and it's new charges are being brought up because of the documentary. Both in the Chicago DA is asking for people like victims to come up, and I guess there's a lady in Georgia who's coming up. And so I was reading this, and I was doing backstories. He's had sexual assault cases like going back to like the mid '90s,
Mm-hmm.
and like I don't know. I mean, I didn't know too much about him other than the Dave Chappelle video. You know, that's sort of I think most people's knowledge of it. But it's pretty crazy that that documentary came out, and then now it's like inciting new charges going on.
I've started watching it. It's a 6-part series. You know, you've had a lot of cases filed against you when they need 6 one-hour episodes to sort. That's almost as long as your E season, you know, to sort through those. And it's on Lifetime, and I'm about halfway through it. And first of all, I've heard the guy's name, and I knew that. I believe I can fly. I've heard that.
that was nice vibrato, man.
Thank you very much. I don't know any of the rest of. I have no frame of reference for the rest of it, but I understand he's quite popular. But it is crazy. Like, it does look like over decades. Like, he's just, well, you know, because they're interviewing all these people that used to work for him, and they're trying their best to, like, give the, well, now, while I never saw anything, in retrospect, it is odd he always wanted me to drop him off at the high school. You know, like, these things that, like, what, you didn't think that was odd? Yeah. So
did you see the video of him? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, this latest one, he had like women living with him like in a cult.
That's
like,
what they're saying. They're saying it's like a cult, that he's got all these women that just live with him now behind the
girls.
Yeah, behind the walls of his compound, and he's like a cult leader, and they just, you know, they're like acolytes.
No, but are they of legal age?
We don't know. Like, I think some of them are, some of them maybe not, and then I think also there's a question as to when some of them got there. Like, they might have turned of age after they were already behind the walls.
The fruit tour.
Yeah, exactly.
That apple's going to be good in 2 years.
Yeah.
From what it sounds like, he likes it when it's...
Yeah.
Sounds like he doesn't like it when it's ripe.
There's a video of him. I saw it. Delia shared it. It's like a video. He's in, I think, Ethiopia, and he's singing, and he's like, "Did you get your passports? Did you get your shots? You want to come to America?" And like, it's like singing it like it's like the sexiest thing, and he's like saying, "Did you get your shots?" Like, I'm like, I love R&B. That's an R&B song.
Yeah, because you just put anything to tune.
Did you get your shots?
Yeah.
He's recruiting. Damn.
Do you have Ebola?
Yeah.
Just like,
I didn't know anything until, I knew that when he went to the court case, because I got to watch this now because I didn't watch the show. Just until now, everything has hit the news about it. Yeah. Before, I always thought he was the guy on the video with the girl that was underage, and they couldn't prove it, that he was peeing on her. Was it him, or was it her? Was it not? Or
well, that's interesting. They cover that in depth because apparently that girl who's in the video was 14 at the time. She was the niece of his backup singer or his backup dancer, Sparkle, and they interview Sparkle. And she's like, you know, I should have never introduced my 12-year-old niece to him. And I'm like, you know, again, this cast of characters in this thing, like, you know, don't let Aunt Sparkle take, you know, your niece out by her own and take her over to R. Kelly's studio.
One interesting thing about the charges from 2002, his lawyer said that he may have been computer generated in the video. And I thought about that, like 2002. Like, think of the graphics in video games, movies, but he was acquitted of all charges in 2002. And they said that he might have been computer generated in a video where he pissed on that 14-year-old girl.
Dude, Louis C.K. is so happy right now. He's like, "Fuck, thank God, I am out of the news."
I still feel like I got a fucking bum deal. Louis C.K. That doesn't count, dude.
If you will, Rocky just said he's out of the news, so let's bring him back in the news.
He made fun of the Parkland kids in his new. Someone secretly taped his stand up.
Yeah, I
What did he do?
work and comedy work.
Let's do this. Let's listen to audio and then we'll react. Okay, so this is Louis C.K. You know, he basically went silent for about a year or so, and now he's out doing sets again. And somebody just recorded his set on their phone or something. So let's listen to about a minute of this.
In the younger generation, honestly, because I'm 51 years old, and when I was like 18 to my 20s, I mean, we were idiots. We were getting high, doing mushrooms and shit, and then older people were like, you gotta get your shit together, and we were like, yeah, f*** you. And I was kind of excited to be in my 50s and see people in their 20s and be like, they're crazy. These kids are nuts, but they're not. They're f***ing, they're just boring. And telling them, you shouldn't say that. What are you, an old lady? What the are you doing? That's not appropriate. You're a child. I don't know, they testify in front of Congress, these kids? Like, what are you doing? You're young, you should be crazy. You should be unhinged. Not in a suit saying, I'm here to tell you. You're not interesting. Because you went to a high school where kids got shot? Why does that mean I have to listen to you? How does that make you interesting? You didn't get shot. You pushed some fat kid in the way. And then, now I got to listen to you talking?
So he's under fire for that. Thoughts?
But it was a set. It was funny.
Oh yeah, no, he was on stage. He was doing a routine, but that's something that definitely gets scrutinized these days. What do you think, Rocky?
How long have you been doing stand up?
6 years, probably.
So here's I have two different thoughts. Well, three. One, you should never record a set in a comedy club. Like, that's like whoever did that, he did that with 100% purpose to get him in trouble. They're trying to just get that out of there. It's not like if you hear me work out bits sometimes, it does not sound, if you just take a bit out of it does not sound good.
Yeah. He didn't put that out as a special. Yeah. Somebody bootlegged it on their phone. Second
thing is the premise of that, the fat kid part is funny, but that's also a hack. It's kind of like when I'm older, this is how when I get older, you know, we were kids, we only had one, you know, bathroom or whatever. So that's like, it's like a little bit like hacky or whatever, but it's like he can work it out. And then the third thing is that's what he's done this whole time. Everyone is pretending like this is like, oh, he's doing racy stuff. Listen to any of Louis' stand-up. That's the rhythm he uses, that's the cadence, and that's kind of the way he takes things. Now, I do think that you have to address the shit that went down with you. Like, for you not to talk about that, you're kind of being a cheapskate. You need to address the shit that went on in your life. But it's like he did the joke where he said the N-word, fag, and all that. Like, did that whole series, and that never had any note. Like, it was just in his set. Now it's like, this is the bad. That's not even. I've heard him say way worse stuff than that.
Yeah, I don't think it's that bad. And I understand. I guess the premise of the joke is that, I mean, really, it's almost kind of a compliment that's saying that the kids are responsible nowadays, and we were fucking jackoffs.
Yes.
See, which is a hack premise, though. That is a hack premise.
Yeah, but I can see where he's going with it. But like, you know, I guess, you know, it needs to be worked on. Whatever. I mean, you guys understand comedy better than I do, but I didn't see it like what he wasn't like. I don't know.
Well, see, that's actually the way that Frank heard it is actually how I heard it, which is I don't listen. First of all,
it was almost a compliment, and I took it that way, going, these kids are fucking up in front of Congress. You're a boring old lady, but it's like saying, well, they got their shit together. They're responsible.
Yeah. First of all, let me just say this as a general positioning statement. I don't think there should be any rules to comedy like this where we have a review board or whatever. The bottom line is if people don't laugh, they won't come see you. You won't have a career. That's that. Or a lot of times people laugh at stuff that I don't get. Like there's people who are real mainstream popular that they're not my favorite comedians. So I know they're real popular, but I don't see a lot of whatever they do. I mean, it's all just subjective. Yeah, but I never walk into. I've never understood. In fact, I'll tie this back to our friend Doug Stanhope. Years back, before, I'm going to get too far off the track, but I'll just tell you, like, this is where my epiphany occurred. So before Doug went off the grid and basically started booking all his own shows and booking his own rooms like he does now, he played comedy clubs. And I remember from where I'm from in Dallas, he played the Improv one week, and it was like standard, you do the whole week or whatever. And they used to put this warning sign up about him, and that they wouldn't do for the other comedians. And I was like, why? This is before I was even doing stand-up, but I said to him, like, why do they do that for you? Like, because to me, I've heard his set, and it's not different in the sense of the material, in terms of you're hearing something offensive or you're hearing foul language or you're hearing something sexual. Like, that's all just the same to me. So I had never been in a position where I've been watching comedy going, haha, that's funny, ha, I'm laughing at that. How dare you? Like, I never had that moment. The worst you get from me is, okay, that's just not that funny to me. Okay, now you're making me laugh again. Like, that's all that comedy is to me. But he told me, he's like, it's because I do this pedophile joke, or it's I do that. Yeah. I'm like, you mean there's levels where they decide that it's okay to be offensive up to a point, but then if you're more offensive than that, then they have to put the sign up. But all that being said, I don't subscribe to any of that. I don't like it. And it's not just because now I call myself a comedian. But that being said, what Frank said, when I heard Louis C.K. do that bit, the first thing I thought of is, I'm not hearing that going, oh, you're so right, Louis. You were a better, that was the better generation, and now these kids are stupid. I'm actually hearing him make himself the dummy. Yeah. Yeah. Like, he's, I agree with that. He's going, it's kind of like he's going, what's with all these kids reading now? I mean, we never read, we were stupid, we were unhinged or whatever. And I understand he's speaking from the voice of the dumb guy. Yeah. But I actually think in an ironic way, it's propping up those kids, going, hey, they're put together in a way we weren't put together then.
He's actually, this is because I just saw this today, Comedy Works, which is, in my opinion, the best club in the country. It's in Denver.
Yeah, in Denver, yeah.
Wendy Curtis, she just denied him to come there. She did it because she had, first they asked for dates, and and she sent him some dates, and then she actually got in contact with one of the victims and was kind of like talking to her, and she just like decided to like not book him there. Now, what's funny though, and this is what I hate in life in general, so she decided to not book him out. She talked to a victim. She's like, look, I just don't want that in my club, which is totally within her right.
I'm okay with that
totally.
Too. That doesn't bother me.
I see a Denver comic share this. Denver is very, very like far left on a lot of people. A bunch of the female comics are attacking her like, well, why did she have to talk to a victim to say no? So they're mad at her. And then I saw it on Twitter. People were like, oh, she don't want to book Louis. She must be a bitch. And I'm like, both sides can't hate you. Like it's like if far left and far right hate you, like you just made like, because now they're hating her for not booking him fast enough, and they're hating her for not booking him at all. And I'm like, it's just like it's everyone is on both sides is just looking to hate, like just find something just to be mad. Like they want Louis to die tomorrow, or like it's just it's the weirdest thing in the world.
Yeah,
and the censorship is weird. I did an epic special, and I'll show you the clip after this. I did a special. It was produced as unfiltered raw comedy. It was literally called unprotected sex, like to make fun of unprotected sex. It's supposed to be like raw to the core stuff. I do a joke where I say black women, and I talk about how black women are aggressive when they flirt with me. And I watched the special, and I heard, I was like, fuck, that sounds weird. I listened to it again, and they edited black women out of my set, so it just says women. I say women in it, and they edit it. You can literally see my mouth move and the words not match up. And
wow!
And I'm like, you produced it as like raw, unfiltered, like comedy, and I'm not being degrading to black women. I'm just saying that they're aggressive when they flirt with me. And like,
did it mess up the joke? Was it still make sense?
The joke literally is, I was like, it's a true story. A black woman walked up to me at a bar one time, and she bought me a beer and sat on the counter and goes, "I'm gonna suck the white off your dick." And I'm like, well, what do you think's underneath, sweetheart? It's just more white, and if you get to the red, you've gone way too far. So the whole joke is the white and black contrast, you know?
I like you, man. Did you think of that on the spur? That was awesome. That was good.
Yeah. So it's like they edited that fucking out of it. And I'm like, that like, it just makes me mad because I'm like, you can't, look, if they would have told me they were going to edit that out, I would have never have done the special. And I didn't get the final copying rights, which I will from everything here on out, but the censorship from everyone on both sides. I don't care who the fuck you believe, who you like. Everyone is looking, no matter what you do, to like hate you.
Yeah. You know what's funny is though, and that's what I'm thinking right now. People want to focus on what a comedian like Louis C.K. is saying, and they get up into arms when they're offended. But to me, it's like, well, then don't watch him.
Yeah.
It doesn't fucking matter. Not to insult Louis C.K., but guess what? Whatever decisions he makes in life aren't affecting me.
Yeah.
Now, I wish that our fucking people that would put so much energy towards what he's saying and being offended by it would be more concerned with what people are saying at the Senate, Congress, and worried about them on a political level. It's like, well, you know, those motherfuckers that are saying shit, they actually affect your life.
Yeah.
You should be wondering what they're doing, not what some fucking comedian says. And like now it's like, okay, well, and now we have this like thought process that an entertainer isn't allowed to be offensive anymore. It's like, well, guess what? Who gives a fuck?
And there's also got to be...
It's not a rule.
There's also got to be levels. Like, I mean, when we started, as it was happening, when we started talking on the podcast about, like, the whole, Me Too, which really started with Harvey Weinstein. Like, okay, there's a guy who is properly
yeah, but he's not saying fucked up shit.
No,
he's doing fucked up shit.
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's an example of a guy who falls in the category of, oh, okay, we got a predator here, or a Kelly, like we were just talking about. I mean, there's a category for that. Then, if we've got this category of, now look, if you can show me where, you know, Louis C.K. ever kept somebody, you know, like physically restrained somebody, or even told them, you know, look, you're not opening this tour for me unless you watch me jack off or something. Okay, maybe we got a problem. But if the whole thing was some sad, like, I mean, to me, the idea of just looking at some girl and being like, hey, can you just watch me jack off? Like,
and I don't agree with what he did, but it's like, yeah, it's like I think he's like, I knew this for years. This was, if you were in comedy, I knew this 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's like we all knew that he did this, and everyone was just like, yeah, Louis a fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
But it's like my thing is like, if I don't know what really happened, because like whatever article you read is completely different. But it's like, yeah, I think he's a fucking nasty piece of shit, like, for doing that. Like even doing that, like even asking like women, like on, like if he asked my girlfriend, I would fucking murder him, you know? Or like if he asked like my nieces. But it's like, okay, like I'm done with him. It's like, I'm not gonna be like, fuck Louis, you know. I would never say like tell a comedian, no matter what they said, even if I didn't like him. There's comedians I fucking hate with a passion. I would never like be like go against him like that. Like I'd be like, look, just y'all handle that in court, or do whatever y'all want to do. Don't go see him or go see him.
Well, yeah, and that's just
maybe I don't understand the story well enough, because
yeah,
to me, I still wonder like why it was such a big issue, because if a girl comes up to me and goes, hey, I want to come up to your room, I'm like, sure, but I want to do things to you. Are you okay with that? Okay.
Yeah.
To me, I'm like, well, you just consented. You know what I mean? Like, whether you did it because you've seen me on TV and you want to do it, I mean, that means that every rich guy is not allowed to get laid now, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of women that go up to rich guys' rooms because they pulled up in a fucking Ferrari.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. Well, I wouldn't have fucked him if it wasn't for the fact he was driving Ferrari. Like, everybody has motives for what they did. My problem is only when you don't give consent. If someone sits there and goes, okay, well, I don't want to do this, well, you're going to fucking do it, or I'm going to fucking fire your dad from my company. Like, okay, that's a little aggressive. That's rapey. You know, fuck you. You can't do that. But anytime you're sitting there going like, oh, you want to hang out with me? Well, there's a price to get paid. Like, you either pay it or you don't. Then you walk off. It's like, I can't complain afterwards. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm in that category. I agree with Frank. Now, here's the thing. Just quick aside, I agree with Frank. Just like you said, if somebody said that to your girlfriend or your niece or whatever, there's going to be a big problem. Those are social ramifications.
Yeah. And it's like more of a moral issue.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that, right? Yeah. So I can see both sides of that, but that's why I think just like you have to have an age of consent, you've got to have legal standards. And if this is a situation of, hey, somebody assaulted me and they were convicted of it or whatever, okay, well, that's one thing. But if it's, well, you know, somebody said something to me that I didn't feel completely comfortable with, but I said okay, and it happened, and then now I don't feel so great about it.
It's like a contract.
It's different.
If right now I'm under contract and Bellator comes up to me and goes, hey, if you don't sign this contract to give us rights to this, we're going to never let you fucking fight again. We're going to ride you out and not fight you till the end of your contract. Well, now you made me sign a contract under duress.
Under duress, right.
Right? Like, I'm like, well, shit, if I don't sign this, you're going to fuck my life. But if you come up to me and go, hey, I got this idea. We're going to sell these dolls, and I want you only to take, 1% of it. Do you want to sign it? And then I sign it. And then afterwards I go, you know what? I wish I would have asked for more. Fuck that. That's not right. Like, in my opinion, I'm like, well, then, asshole, you should have fucking read the fine print in the first place. No one put you under duress. No one held a gun to your head. Just because you made decisions based at the time of the information you had, well, now you moved on and go, well, now I want more. It's like, well.
And the other thing, too, Rocky, I don't know if this is just how my mind works from a comedian's perspective, but the other part of that too is like, if I had ever been a part of any of that kind of conversation, my first thing would be, I have to write the Louis C.K. wanted to masturbate and cry in front of me bit before anybody else got to it. You know what I mean? I'd just be like, all right, well, that's going to stage. Yeah. You know, so yeah, if that's something you're asking me if you can do.
I would like to ask him about that. Be like, yo, like, so you got a girl that's willing to come up to your room and you want to just masturbate in front of him?
Fucking, like I never.
There's no crime in being a weirdo, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that is kind of weird. Like,
people like weird shit.
It's like because I heard this for years. Like the same way, like there's like a bunch of people that are gay in the industry that don't come out that everyone kind of knows, but it's like with Louis, I heard this for a while.
Is that still pretty prevalent?
Oh yeah, I know at least 3 or 4 people that were not outly gay that are clearly gay. Like,
oh really? It seems like nowadays. I mean,
that I've seen.
I've
like,
even made jokes.
Stuff.
I'm like, man, the first fighter that really fucking figures out that he needs to jump on the gay wagon, jump on it, dude. Like.
But it's like, my thing is, I just don't like the way, like, my thing is like from a moral standpoint of like, I think that's so fucked up. It'd be like the same as like, it's like if you just like with the brothel thing, if you just did something like the way like he like had like writing sessions and then was like, hey, can I jack off in front of you? That's just like, for me, it's like it's just, and I, that's why like I'm happy that like it got out that like people don't like, but it's like, if you're, okay, like if he locked the door or something like that or anything like that, send him the fuck to jail.
Yeah.
It's like I still think he's a creep and I don't like him because of it. I'm like,
weird.
I'm like, it's fucking weird. I don't ever want you to meet my daughter or my friends. I would still tour with him if he needs me. Just put that on the fucking record. My ticket sales are low, but fucking he's just like a piece of shit. And it's like, but it's everything, man. Like I had a show that I got cast for, which I found out after, paid $57,000, which could have used that. But I auditioned for the show. It was like a 3-month span. I got cast for the show. I got called from the producers like, Rocky, we love you. You're the first person we've casted for this. You're the first name they gave us. We love you. And then 2 days later, they're like, hey man, when we gave this to our list to the people, and I'll say it like in Amazon, when we gave the list to them, they want to go a different direction. And so I was so confused because I'm like, I don't know why. Like, there's not many straight white guys on the show. That wouldn't be the reason, because that is a thing. Like, you can't have too. You need diversity and everything. But then I came to the conclusion because another friend got cut because of a roast battle. He had a roast battle where he roasted a guy, and they cut him for that because it was too offensive. And then I realized I had a joke with my grandpa, fucking lady who made the costumes for the KKK, and I think that I'm 99% sure I got cut because of that, because that was in my reel.
Like they just go back and look, find something.
And I'm like, look, if you just didn't want me to do the joke, just tell me. I won't do the joke on the show. But now it's just like you're the judge and the jury without giving me an opportunity.
You know what? And here's the dangerous.
But I mean,
that's
comedy kind of fall under. I mean, I don't know. That'd be like me right now going to Stephen King and going like, "Hey, motherfucker, you've wrote some pretty fucking crazy shit. Like, is there something wrong with you?" Like, he's a writer. It's fiction. Like, he's just making shit up. You know what I mean? And there's some truth behind. I mean, obviously, it's based on things that makes it plausible, or it would be an unrealistic story.
Well, and if you think,
a comedian, you guys say shit that. It's like, dude, it's not real.
Well, that's my, but
that's most of mine's true stories. But
if you think about, like,
it's still used for humor. Like,
that's
that's the thing. You're going up there. It's like a person singing a song. I'm sure singers have had their heart broken and singing songs about it, but like, I don't know. Like, I'm not going to take it word for word, and then all of a sudden we go into a court case and go, well, she said she cheated on him. It's like she was singing a fucking song.
I think the other thing you have to worry about now, because what you just said to me, Rocky, the first thing I thought of was, because now it may not even be, we don't want you to do that joke in our show. Now they've got to start thinking about, what if we cast him? What if he becomes big, and then somebody goes back and finds that clip? Yeah. You know, some old clip from
like
a couple years ago.
the thing that happened right now with, was it Kevin Hart? Right?
Certainly glad you brought up Kevin Hart, Frank.
My buddy.
That's the other one,
It's almost like we got a script in front of us, but we don't. Porno Mikey, you got anything on Kevin Hart?
Yeah, I just saw one of his Instagram
Did we
posts
hijack your fucking...
No, we're actually helping him segue.
Yeah.
This is,
it's like,
I read the list before I got here. So.
No, but his response, we all saw what happened. He had, like 3 or 4 tweets from 2009 and 10 where were homophobic. And let me pull up what they actually
if you can actually show because here's the thing about
the actual tweets.
Now it looks like he can't host the Oscars because he had some homophobic tweets. But the thing, when I first heard this, and I guess I'm not following Kevin Hart on Twitter or whatever, but when I first heard that story, I was like, well, I wonder what they were. Like, what are the jokes, you know? And if you want me to find fault with anything, it's that the jokes aren't very good. Like, they weren't even.
It's old Twitter when people didn't get Twitter when you just wrote.
Well, here's
let's
one.
Get rid of that.
Here's one, for example, from 2011.
Which one is this?
Yo, if my son comes home and tries to play with my daughter's dollhouse, I'm going to break it over his head and say in my voice, quote, "Stop, that's gay."
Yeah, it's
okay, that's not. That's I don't know what that is. Like, honestly,
it's a guy trying out jokes.
Yeah, but that
it sucked.
Scrap that one.
But I mean, it's a guy trying out jokes.
But I don't see it. I don't look at that and
you don't think he's working on something?
Well, no. But here's the thing. I'm just saying, I don't look at that and go, oh my God, let's make sure this guy never hosts the Oscars. I look at that and go, boy, I'd have had a little stronger
Here's my
edit
thought.
than that.
If you would have tweeted out, hey, if you find out your fucking kid is gay, you need to fucking cut his throat.
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude. Did you just say that?
Yeah.
Like, whoa. Like, that's not, I mean, you can't tell me that that's a joke.
Yeah.
That's an offensive statement
Yeah.
that might guide some people to do some crazy
Incite.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can incite some fucking really awful things. But someone saying some shit like that, it's like, dude, he's just trying a joke that just wasn't funny.
And can I say that because I started in the black community in Atlanta, so that's the only people that let me on stage was the black people. The white hipsters would never let me on stage. I looked like the guy who beat them up in high school. They literally hated me. So I started in the black comedy community, and the the jokes like sissy and like gay and like all that. That's not like that still happens. It's like it's not even like Kev was in that community more a little bit. That's not like. And it's just that happened. I've heard that with doing comedy at like the Uptown all the time. Be like sissy. I mean, look at Bernie Mac's joke, the milk and cookies, like that joke.
Yeah.
That happened a lot. And my thing is that I hate the most, and I think Andrew Schultz said this, is that he has apologized for the joke on his special that was kind of similar to like if I don't want my son to be gay, and he's already apologized for this and addressed all this, and he now doesn't post anything like that, and he's like, that's not how I think anymore. Is the whole thing, and Andrew said this, you want people to grow, right? You want people to not be that way anymore. Why are you punishing him for that? Like so now there's no reason to grow. Because if you try to grow and be like, this is who I used to be, this is not who I am anymore, they're gonna punish you for it. So why the fuck are you gonna grow?
I'll tell you,
there's no benefit.
There's no benefit.
The other thing is, to me, if I saw this kind of stuff, what I would do is, as the producer of the Oscars or whatever, I'd be like, all right, we're gonna have him host. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put another comedian on there with him, and we're going to have maybe, but we're going to have that guy fuck with Kevin Hart, and the whole premise of the bit's going to be, boy, you seem awfully concerned about all this heterosexual. Like you,
that is funny. Yeah.
You turn it around. To me, that if there's any whatever penalty to be paid, I mean, everybody still gets the entertainment.
Your balls
out of
busted
it.
a little bit.
That's it. See, as a comedian, and you know what, this. It's not exactly relatable, but I'll just tell you this. There's a comedian that I got into a little it was politically based, because he's gone down like he's into the whole like anonymous Q, like the government's being secretly controlled stuff on but like legit on his Instagram. So we had a little back and forth counterpoint, but he just went through and deleted all my comments. And I'm like, but my stuff was pithy, like it was done with a sense of humor.
Yeah.
Like the points I was making, I was still cracking jokes and stuff, and I looked at it and I'm like, man, you're a comedian. Yeah. Like, is that how you're gonna handle a heckler? And I'm a comedian. Like, you know, do you mean to tell me if I just make a few jokes on your thing that you're gonna be like, delete rather than come back at me with something? Like, I almost don't have any respect for that.
No,
you know what I mean?
1,000%.
Yeah. So it's like to me, there's a million different ways better to handle this, because if you start doing this, then it's going to be like literally like you're putting something in front of a standards and practices board. You know, let me read your act. Have you printed it out for me before I book you?
They make you do that. My buddy Nimesh Patel, he's Indian, I think is
didn't have to tell us that, but yeah,
that is racist. Fucking pull this podcast off iTunes right now. What's up, Frank? I'm your news host, Rocky. Call me Big Dick Rick.
Let's see how long this lasts.
No, it's like he does this joke, and it was like he's like, there's no reason you choose to be gay, because there's no reason the black person would also choose to be gay, because they don't want to inherit that hardship, because it's already hard enough to be black. That's a progressive joke. He's saying it's hard to be black and it's hard to be gay, so if you're not going to choose another hardship. They fucking came on stage during his act in New York, at NYU or college, I think, or Columbia. They came on stage during his act, and they were like, "We need you to go. Sorry, the sound guy's leaving." And then he's like, "No, he's not. He's right there." And he goes, "Well, we just don't appreciate your comments." And he's like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Like, I do a progressive joke. I'm a minority too." And he said something very poetic. He's like, "You can't hide from the world. This is the world. You can't hide from it. And if you do, you're living in you have blinders on." Yeah. And it's just it is out of control, and the best thing you can do is just not address any of it. Kevin Hart will be fine. He's got twice as many followers as the Oscars had viewers in the past 10 years. Like, yeah, it's just so sad, because as a comedian, and knowing the success I will have, like in my life, I'm like, oh, I'll be a trending story on Twitter one day. The homophobic, racist Rocky Del Davis will be on Twitter. My mom will get death threats. My girlfriend will get death threats.
That's a long hashtag.
Rocky RDD. They'll shorten it. Yeah, Rocky Del Dennis. They'll fucking It's just like it's a sad time for that. And it's the best comedy we've ever had ever. The comedy right now is just so superior. I mean, there's so many great acts, and it's just weird that they have to deal with that.
I always just think there's more creative ways, because when I think about ways, like I dealt with this with Michael Vick, because I have a dog that was one of the dogs that was rescued from Michael Vick's dogfighting ring. So I hate Michael Vick, and I've tried to confront him. I mean, this is a whole story everybody knows. Like there's video of this.
Did it go off?
No, we're good. No, we're rolling. But what I was going to say was, for the longest time, I was like, well, it's certainly not funny to me, but I want to do something on stage about it, because that's the way. If I really want to punish him, like for me personally, I'm not a judge or whatever. If there's one thing I can do to him, it's use my superior intellect, because he's not a very smart person, to write a joke that is so stinging to him and that will get an entire room full of people, white people, black people, everybody in between, laughing at his expense. And that's exactly what I did. So rather than just sit there and go, because I never had the thought, okay, how can I ban every comedian from ever saying anything about him? I didn't think of it that way. I thought of, how can I just fuck him with words?
Yeah.
And I did.
Get that. And I can never come to your house and watch the Falcons game, huh?
Oh.
The fucking dog's like, no.
Oh, yeah. The funny thing is about, I don't know a lot about football to begin with, so it wasn't one of those, things with me. But, it's funny you bring up football, because it's even like, I hear guys talk about, one thing I can tell you about football was, I heard one time a discussion about, they got a new penalty, because if you celebrate in the end zone, you take your helmet off, they penalize you 10 yards on the kickoff. There was some rule like that. And I looked at it, I'm like, fuck all that. Just make the punishment, if you take your helmet off in the end zone, you got to play the next set of downs without it.
That's funny.
That'll be fun, right? Let's have some fun.
CTE.
Let's do a death pool update before we wrap up. Okay, because Rocky, Frank and I and all of our listeners play in Doug Stanhope's Celebrity Death Pool.
Okay.
And it is annual. What I don't know about fantasy football, I make up for in fantasy death prognostication.
I want to say this is fucked up before we start, but okay.
Yeah. So I've been in a number of years. I think I played 4 or 5 years now, and I brought Frank into it. And
it is fucked up, dude.
You're a veteran of celebrity.
Because people will die now. And I quickly look to go, fuck, Richard had him. God damn it. And my wife will be like, are you upset? Like, there's been a couple times where I've been like, yes. She's what happened? I'm like, fuck, so-and-so died. I'm sorry.
I knew I should have started him. He should have been my flex. God damn it.
Yeah, that's how you have to think about it.
I like how you just put on the glasses to look too. You're like, okay, this podcast, let's get to the serious shit.
Yeah, this is the classy part of the production. Because I want to we have to do, first of all, let me say while I'm pulling up this year's results, that if you want to play with us this coming year, the start date is going to be February 1st. Go to DougStanhopeCelebrityDeathPool.com. Search Phone Booth Fighting. That's the name of our league. Phone Booth Fighting. It is free to play. So all you have to do is sign up, and you'll have until February 1st to draft your list of 20 celebrities. Now, we want to congratulate this year's first place finisher in the Phone Booth Fighting League with 198 points and 4 kills, Frank. Doug Stanhope's Prostate. The team known as Doug Stanhope's Prostate takes the gold medal, and I want to see just who he had on his list.
I don't trust that guy.
Yeah, I know.
Where does he live?
Yeah, sometimes it's like they're so good. It's hang on.
It's one of the rules, though. You can't influence the outcome.
Yeah, no, that
working
is
at Chipotle in L.A. You start poisoning people.
Yep.
No, just get. Hey, you can do not do that. Do not. That's a great idea.
So we congratulate Doug Stanhope's Prostate. By the way, like I said, the funeral home is open now, so all you have to do, Doug Stanhope CelebrityDeathPool.com, search Phone Booth Fighting, and sign up. Now, in our private league that you and I do with Doug, Frank, this is just you, me, Doug Stanhope, and about 8 or 9 other folks. Frank was leading most of the season. He was beating me most of the season. He had 7 points, or I'm sorry, 73 points and 3 kills over the season. You took out John McCain, also Stephen Hawking, and
the one I was most sad about.
Yeah, and Tessa Jowell.
No. Oh, I didn't. Oh, you know what? Fuck, I switched up my. That's
you dropped Stan Lee. Is that what you think?
I did. Fuck, I dropped Stan Lee.
Yeah, Tessa Jowell, who was a British politician, scored you 30 points. But I trailed you most of the season, but late in the season, I pulled ahead of you, and I finished 2 spots above you. So at 5th place, also with 3 kills, but with my 119 points to your 73, I had conservative columnist Charles Krautheimer. I had John McCain as well, and also Stephen Hillenberg. He, of course, was the SpongeBob SquarePants.
Yeah,
so,
that was sad.
yeah. So, I'll tell you this real quick. We do have some interesting new bonus categories that have been updated for this year. So, let me go to that. First of all, the seasonal bonus for this year is going to be the Ugly American. So if someone is born in the 50 continental United States, that's a 25-point bonus, which I think is going to be a lot better than we've had in years past, because it'll get us away from researching aging members of British Parliament. You know what I mean? It'll be more our celebrities.
This last season, that's what I did. I go there and you go on websites and you start looking up people that I have no fucking clue who they are, but everybody else is picking them, and I'll research. I'm like, prostate cancer, you know, the fucking pancreas. I'm like, I'll grab them, you know, because they ran for Parliament one time. And
a couple of the bonus categories have been elevated in terms of value. So the Whitney Houston bonus, when a black celebrity dies during Black History Month. That used to be 25 points. It's been increased to 50, and I like that.
Well, this interview will get pulled when I get famous, right there. So I can just got that one locked down. Continue.
Yeah, you got quiet all of a sudden, man.
Yeah. I heard it pucker from here.
Yeah.
I'm on E. We're not racy at all. It's gay and female network. So.
Leonard Skinnard, celebrity dies in a plane crash, has been moved from 50 to 75 points. But here's where...
Because no one ever fucking dies in planes anymore.
No, not anymore.
I say that and I fly all the time.
Can you pick yourself in the death pool?
You can.
I'm in there.
Yeah, Frank and I are both on the roster of people you can select. Yeah. Frank's final gift.
Jen hates that.
Oh, that you're in there?
She hates it.
Yeah.
You should make a Chris Benoit category when a WWE person dies.
Ooh, that is a good one.
Yeah,
that is a real good one. And wrestlers,
do they have to strangle their kid first? Or?
25 points if they do.
Yeah, pro wrestlers are a great pick because they die early.
Yeah,
because see, the way it works is
wrestlers and porn stars.
It's your age minus it's 100 points minus your age. So if you're 92 years old, you're only worth 8 points. But if you're 25? See, 25. You're 75 points.
Prime real estate.
And that's if you die of natural causes. You throw a Amy Winehouse bonus in there, 25 on top of that. You're a crisp 100 for somebody.
Yeah.
But here's the this is going to be the new challenge for this season at DougStanhopeCelebrityDeathPool.com. They have created the monthly mortality bonus, Frank. Okay, so every month there is going to be a different highlighted illness. Okay,
so when we have on the 15th,
trade round. Once a month we have a trade round where you can drop a celebrity, pick one up. So for example, March colorectal cancer. So if you got somebody on your roster for March that has that, but they make it through the month, trade them and maybe pick somebody else up for, November's pancreatic cancer month, something like that. So there's going to be 25 points above and beyond everything else on top of that.
That's cool.
So there's a lot.
My favorite one is the last call.
What's that?
That's a game changer. Now, the last call, and it's never happened before. I don't think it's ever happened in the history of Celebrity Death Pool. But if someone dies on December 31st, 100 points. It's the biggest bonus you can get.
Yeah.
And if you think about it from the standpoint of fun, it is great because somebody could be leading the whole season, and all of a sudden, bam, New Year's Eve, somebody dies, 100 points, and I just shoot right past you.
I'm surprised it hasn't hit yet.
Yeah,
because I'm thinking like a Lindsay Lohan. She's definitely dying at a party. You know what I mean?
Like partying on New Year's Eve, right?
You should do like a 200-point bonus. That's a game changer, and you should do it for family members. So if you draft a family member in your pool, that should be like an extra little category. On the side.
Okay. Somebody, and
then when you get to be investigated.
Well, listen, that's when it gets real. Is like for me the creepiest time of all the years that I've played is I used to carry Ron Jeremy on my roster every year because of anybody I know, he takes worse care of himself than any other person, right? And so I just always assumed he would be good to go. And a lot of people didn't think of him. So I always had him and everybody else wasn't picking him. Then he had a heart attack. Now he's on my roster while he has a heart attack. And I'm like, oh, fuck, this is weird because I know this dude and everything. But
how you feeling, buddy?
Yeah, exactly.
What you thinking, man? The 15th's coming up. So I mean, just saying, like if you're going, you know, fucking go.
Yeah. But then everybody started picking him after that because now he was on the radar because he made health news. So, it affects all
Who
that.
wasted a pick on Betty White every year? That fucking bitch has probably been ruining rosters. Just healthy as shit walking around.
Because actually, if you pick somebody that's, a centenarian, counts against you. They're 101. It's minus 1 point.
It could.
Yeah.
It could. This is how deep the strategy gets, Rocky. So,
well, no, like you said, though, you have friends that pick friends. Like Doug,
Doug had Ralphie.
Yeah, that's right. Doug had Ralphie.
And Ralphie knew it. Yeah. And
that's so fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah. And Ralphie knew it. I mean, he knew about it, And he was like, but to me, I know.
That's so fucked up. That's why he was talking about my gift to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Well, I mean, trust me. If I went to the doctor and found out I have a fucking pancreatic cancer, and I know that 6 fucking weeks, I'm like, hey, very sly. They'd be like, hey, buddy, I got good news. I got bad news.
That's when you know things aren't going well. Is when you log on and just put yourself on your roster.
Fuck me. That's so. I also like how when we discussed UFC, you're ex UFC fighter, and it's like when we discussed UFC, it was like you gave good the punches and the way she throws the takedowns, but it was not as in depth as this. You say you love fighting, and you do love this way more than you love fighting.
He's
this
very
is fucking in depth. This is so funny.
I'm a fan of dark humor. Yeah. This is dark humor.
He's very competitive. And speaking of other people who are competitive, we got to remember that Big John McCarthy wants to play. Because he wanted to play last season, so we got to get him. All right, let's get everybody involved. Like I said, it's open to any of our listeners. Do you want to play, Rocky? Are you worried about your career being affected?
I want to play. I want to play so bad. And whoever's fighting in a Mario Yamasaki fight, I'm picking them because he just lets that shit fucking go.
That's true.
So
that's true.
I 100% want to play. Okay. This is
okay.
This is crazy. This is the funniest thing. I've done things. This is I got excited for fantasy. It was my first time playing fantasy this year. I got really excited, and I'm more excited for this now.
Okay, good. Yeah, good. Well, we'll include you then. So Rocky Dale Davis is going to join us over at Phone Booth Fighting on our Death Pool League at Doug Stanhope CelebrityDeathPool.com. You come over and join us. Well, Mikey, you haven't played with us yet. You want in?
No, I played last year.
I'm sorry. That's right. You were.
I got 1 point from the old preacher guy. He died pretty early in the year.
Oh, Billy Graham?
Yeah, Billy Graham.
Yeah.
So I played and I got on the board.
See, what happens is let's say, because I carry a couple of people who are older than 100, because you figure, at some point. But the thing is, let's say I've got somebody that's 103. Okay, I put them on my roster. Well, first of all, they're still worth, because if they're what we call a solo pick, which means nobody else in the league has them, they're still going to be worth 23 points at that. I mean, you're going to be penalized the 2 or 3 for having them over 100, but then you're going to make it back on the solo points. But if somebody else has them, trade them immediately, because as soon as you see that pop up, oh no, Frank took them too, I got to get them off my roster, because there could be literal dead weight at that point.
Yeah.
So there's a whole lot of strategy.
I never asked this whole time. When we do trade rounds, you can only trade the spots you have. Say, okay, you have the 20 spots, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And let's say it's June and I have 3 hits.
Yep.
I only have 17 people I can trade, right?
That's right.
So the 3 I'm already locked up on.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. If you pick a centenarian, somebody that's old, you're kind of wasting a spot, not only losing a point or two, but then lose ability to score.
You always go between, okay, I got to have a few that are low-hanging fruit, but then I've also got to have a few that are, they're going to be big payoffs. That's
how
how
try to make the majority of that, and then you have your I call them the Hail Marys.
Yeah,
I pick a couple always, like a Lindsay Lohan, somebody young that I know that's being reckless, that I'm hoping is going to fucking
give me Lovato. That's my next one.
Lovato.
Yeah,
that'd have been a great one. Yeah, that's a good.
You
one.
start doing those later in the season when you're way behind, and you're like, man, just a little 5 points here, 8 points there, ain't going to do it. I gotta, a John McCain ain't going to help me out at this point because everybody's got him and he's worth 8 points. I gotta
I hope I become like really successful, just so I start meeting a lot of the people in the Deadpool. Just like, hey, what's up?
Pretty soon you'll be on there.
Yeah.
No, fuck no. They're gonna be like, go to do phone booth. Hey, Rocky, can you leave your phone outside just for the phone booth episode? Like the thing, connection. Did you tell anybody you were here, right? No, okay, cool.
How is your health?
Frank said, let me show you this new choke real quick. So just
tap when breaks the rules, can't influence it.
Yeah, no, that's in fact you'll see this when you create your account, Rocky. But the number one rule of Deathpool is that you cannot kill your own celebrities because if you do it, you will not be awarded the points.
Okay.
And they're serious about that. Okay. Very strict.
Very
in addition
strict.
to the
very strict for a federal crime.
Yeah, whatever prosecution comes along with it, you also
them and the justice
not only will
system.
you get the death penalty, but you're gonna fucking lose points.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, this has been a fun one. You have a good time? It's a lot of fun having you up here, man.
So much fucking fun, man. Thank y'all for coming.
Absolutely.
Let me come on. This is great. I can't wait to have you guys come on. That would be awesome. Yeah.
For sure. Tell everybody one more time how to find your podcast.
So you can find me on Instagram, Twitter at Rocky Dale Davis. The podcast is Welcome to Brookwood. If you follow me on Instagram at Rocky ROCKY Dale DALE Davis, I post everything on there. The podcast is called Welcome to Brookwood. We're 3 episodes in now. Getting some people on. Hopefully have you guys on. Fred's and Paxhouse coming on. A couple people. And so it's good. Bert Kreischer. I think I got Segura maybe coming on soon. So just go follow that. And then my show, January 21st, it airs on E! And it airs every weeknight for 5 weeks. So you can see it. It's called Dating No Filter. 7:30 Pacific time, 10:30 Eastern. So go check it out. And thank y'all so much, man.
And if you're also follow Rocky for his comedy dates. So
at RockyDaleDavis.com. So
he's touring, but if you happen to be in and around the Vegas area because he's living here, there's probably a pretty good chance.
January 27th of Chattanooga. If anybody's in Chattanooga, I'm at the Comedy Catch there. And we're putting some more dates around. I'm trying to see what the show does first, and then we're going to plan a whole tour, and I'll be out pretty much every weekend.
All right. I also need to plug my own while I'm at it because I don't have the week yet, but in February I'm going to be doing a week of featuring at LA Comedy Club, so I'll be middling. Yeah.
For who?
I don't know yet. That's the thing. I got to be given the week, but I'm not sure for who yet. It depends on who doesn't have the stroke to reject me, because there's probably a few people that are like, fuck no, but then there's going to be somebody that's like, hey, you're first time here. You gotta take what we give you. But yeah, Frank's got, what you probably have under your belt now, 6, 7 comedy sets?
Oh, I think 4.
Okay. Yeah. Frank's a aspiring stand-up comedian as well.
Dude, I gotta, I'm going to do a show, and I'll have you guys on.
Let's do that.
I'll jump up there.
Let's do that. You know what? In all honesty, even if you wasn't here, I'd tell you this, it's pretty damn good. Like, of all... We talked about it at the club.
All the non-comedians.
Okay, so you know how the comedians sit at the table over by the bar, and that's the spot. Well, there was an informal poll conducted after Frank did his first set, and everybody agreed that if anybody they had seen here that wasn't a comedian, that came from some other thing that was trying it, definitely the best anybody had seen.
No, that's like Pat McAfee's like that. Pat McAfee, the Colts punter, he did literally got on stage and did an hour his first time.
Oh, no shit!
It's storytelling. But it's great. It's I mean, it's not like punchline, but it's funny. Yeah, no, 1,000%. That's fucking hilarious.
Frank's is really good. All right, so be looking for that. Frank, tell them how to follow us on social media.
Well, on Facebook and Instagram, you can follow us at Phone Booth Fighting. Snapchat and Twitter, just Phone Booth Fight. Are you keeping the Snapchat?
Yeah, you know what? It's funny you say that. I got to blow the dust off that thing. I actually logged into it today. Did you just get?
Stock's going down, losing users every day.
Yeah, because Instagram's pretty much does what Snapchat could do in the day that they were the only ones doing it. Now you can do it on Instagram, and we'll keep it going.
Snapchat's, I think, just for sending dirty pics. Or
that's why I deleted it, because I was just getting like from Rebecca in Amarillo, Texas, a picture of her boobs, like with a Bud Light can, and I'm like, well, I don't want to see that right now. I'm trying to get past these days. People can reach out to you too easy. Instagram's the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I got rid of Snapchat.
All right. So if you're a new follower to Rocky, no pictures of your boobs.
No pictures, because my girlfriend checks my phone now.
He's looking to move past that
dark
chapter of his life.
No more unsolicited nudes. Okay. Unless you have a picture of his dick, then I'm down. I want to see it now. I couldn't even do the podcast. Sorry, I was thinking about it so much. I'm like, it's always people like these like the hair. You've never met a person with long hair that had a small dick, not once. Jesus had a big dick, I guarantee it. Long hair means big dick. I'm excited to see it.
On that note, Frank, tell them about the Amazon banner. Let's do that.
That's another easy way to help out at the show, just by clicking on phoneboothfighting.com. We have an Amazon banner, which I use profusely now. Every time I just bought a filter for my fridge.
Oh, nice.
By clicking on that banner, you go right through to Amazon, and anything you purchase at a small price, no extra price to you, small percentage comes back to here at the show.
That's right. That helps us keep this thing afloat. Also, merch is at phoneboothfighting.com. T-shirts like the one we just gave Rocky there.
Yeah,
it's
man,
going to look good on him there when he's on stage in Chattanooga, Tennessee, wearing that.
I'll take a picture and post it. Yeah.
All right, please do that. Please do that. And then also, one other thing you can do for us, it's helpful, it's absolutely free as well. Go to iTunes, search Phone Booth Fighting, and click on the 5 stars. Give us a 5-star review. That helps us a lot. If you have an extra second, write a favorable line or two, and we like to read those on the air. We'll be doing that again for 2019. So, for our guest in studio, Rocky Dale Davis, for Porno Mikey doing a great job of producing and bringing the news, and for Frank Mir, I'm Richard Hunter, and we'll see you right back here next time on Phone Booth Fighting.